It happened last week on Dustin Fletcher.
Let's get ready to rumble. This is AFL on 9. Hawthorn versus Carlton. Dennis Cometti.
Opening bounce of the night then. Not a particularly good one. McKernan thumps it down towards half forward. Big roar. Runs inside the 50. Whitnell went to ground. Slick hands away. Franchina. Poor hand pass. Cox over the footy. McCabe put the body in. Freeborn tackled immediately. Gang tackle. Down he goes. And the ball up. But Corey McKernan searching for redemption tonight. Up and he slammed it inside the 50. What a start.
I tipped that on the footy show last night.
Yeah, and he followed it up, and had Franchina's hands been a little bit cleaner, it could have been the biggest fairy tale of all. He was dead set on for a goal there.
Yeah, had Franchina kicked it instead of handballing to nobody with the no-look handball. That was almost a kick there from Fletcher. It comes out the back, though, to Harford for Hawthorn. They're still in trouble. Hay just got it out in time. Now the Hawks clear outside 50, but back it comes. Andrew McKay. Short to the pocket, diving mark was sensational from Murphy.
He lined up at full forward, Eddie did. Justin Murphy, and he's got Jonathan Hay as his opponent, so that will keep Hay. He's not the normal type of opponent that he'd be used to, so that's probably good thinking. And the big surprise at the minute was that Houlihan was going with Crawford early in the piece. Might just sort itself out. Franchina will find his way to him, you'd suspect.
Justin Murphy. Just inside the 50. Tugs it left. I think he's missed. He has. Opening score of the night. Carlton on the board. Hawthorn. Just a couple of touches. Both of them under pressure so far. Early going. First term Friday night football from the MCG. Hawthorn have won their last 3 on a roll. Carlton rolling down the other side of the mountain. Have lost their last 4. Cox straight down the middle. McKernan again. Up he goes. Charges back, carries the footy like a loaf of bread.
Free kick.
Shut it out. There's a sting in the tail.
There was a shepherd out, he's called, I think.
He's given up the bread.
Yeah, there's a shepherd there. Didn't actually even pretend to go for the ball there, Lance, but 50-50.
Campbell got it to Barlow inside the 50. Holland was up, check. Went to ground. Vandenberg. Camporelli got him down. Great to see Scott Camporelli back tonight.
She's a bit stiff, Corey, not getting that mark, wasn't he, boys? Gary, what did you think?
Yeah, no, I think most importantly was that he did take it and took it cleanly. Yep. And the fact that it's not down on the stats sheet probably won't hurt him that much, I wouldn't think.
Ball up inside 50 for the first time for the Hawks. McKernan did the shepherding on this occasion. Manton just threw it away. Barker for Hawthorn. Cox slaps it forward. Chick over the top. McCabe finds some space. Kick to the square. They're all there. 3 Hawks, and Graham, who has his testimonial tomorrow night, will line up. About 25 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
Well, you saw at the other end, Dennis, when you said they were a bit risky at one stage. It was Mark Graham who gave the defensive handball. That's getting turned over here. That might be against Shane Crawford, I would suspect. Franchina's his opponent.
Yep, well, we'll try and find out what happened there. We're all looking at the stats to see that Graham hadn't kicked the goal for the year. In the meantime, the umpire picked out a free kick.
There's Beaumont. Back towards the middle. Eccles.
Just get the feeling whoever kicks the first goal might just make a mini break here.
Matthew Lappin on the lead up towards the wing. Carlton with the only score in the game so far.
Hawthorn, all their players are defensive side of the centre.
Lappin, searching kick just inside the 50. Houghton was up. Whitnell smothered off the boot. It wanders down towards the pocket. Murphy lays it back to Whitnell. Spots a man towards the middle. Wasn't 15, no. Freeborn touched off the boot. Back to Whitnell. Angles the goal. Oh, how about that?
And that is the beauty of Lance Whitnell.
Oh, it's on.
Close to goal.
Let's go away. Clear it. Mark.
Nice and fired up they are early in the piece of blues, which you would expect, given their circumstances at the moment. But Lance close to goal.
Here's the replay of the free kick. There you go.
Nick Holland was the player who was trying to put a bit of physical pressure on the tagger of Shane Crawford. There's Lance. On the bench now. Yeah, well, he's paid the price. Good hands there for Murphy, wasn't? What about this second kick from Lance Whitnell? He's had 3 goes at it here. Smart kick this. Just little gap, knew where it was and was able to execute beautifully.
That was Lance Whitnell's 99th career goal at the MCG.
Blues by 7 points. Good start. McKernan taps it down. Vandenberg stood his ground. Freeborn to Eccles, though. Carlton charge forward inside the 50. Rawlings hit it hard. Sockers off the ground. Rees leads in the race. Knocks it to the advantage of Leckis. A fumble. Still Leckis in trouble. Back to Rees. Feeds it wider. Graham in space. Kicks down towards half forward McKay. Uncontested across half back. The champ. Okay, off his step. Bristow came from outside the boundary. Holland off the ground because of his indiscretion, I'd suggest.
No question about that, Dennis.
Bristow jabs it in short. Fletcher plays on immediately. They're tacking up the outer side. This is Gallagher. He's got the ball just forward of the wing. Pretty congested up ahead. Goes for distance. High ball. McKernan charges at it. It falls in short. Rawlings takes the mark on his chest.
So Rawlings on half-back flank for the Hawks. The centre wing. Barlow was there. Carlton holding the ball up tonight, not panicking at all. The big whoop for Ange Christou up towards McKernan. Made the contest. Cox for Hawthorn. Slaps it forward. Here's Camporelli twisting and turning. Does it beautifully. Gets it out to Houghton. Houghton around the body to the pocket. There's no one there for the Blues just yet. Need a good bounce. Whitnell did very well to knock it out of bounds and lock it into their forward line. We'll have a throw in the right forward pocket. Punt run into the MCG. Carlton by 7 points. We've played 6.5 minutes.
Great start by the Blues. Bearing in mind Hawthorn have started so well in the last 2 weeks. Whitnell stood up in the tackle. Hand passes back towards the middle. Chick. Campbell. Well worked. Rees. Cox. Adrian Cox from half back. Penetrating kick towards half forward. And Crawford hung in the air. Magnificent mark. He's in rear form from 55 metres out, long towards full forward, going back. Manton, quick thinking by Crawford. Spotted the open square, just off target. Didn't quite have the carry. Wonderful leap. Look at that.
Confident player at the moment. They're playing across half forward at the moment, taking Franchina down there with him, and well, it just surprised me a little bit, Dermot, that they've scored so heavily.
Shocking kick from full back.
All the statistics, Ed, show that Daniel Chick's the most accurate set shot in the club from inside 50. So this will probably be good news for Hawks and bad for Carlton that he's got it at the moment. And having said that, it's probably 5 metres further than his perfect range.
Better run over the line.
Ange Christou usually one of the better kicks for Carlton, not on that occasion. 68% probability, man on the mark, 46 metres out. Chick from just outside 50. Tugs it to the left-hand side, trying to find that extra metre or two that Dermot and Dennis were referring to, and it's through for a point. Hawthorn are 2 behinds. Carlton are 1-1-7. 8 minutes gone, opening term.
Ange has been given a spell after the last kick. Craig Bradley assuming kicking in duties.
Guarding the corridor here, the Hawks, and there's space out wide or short.
Bradley with the job. And just gone away to have a long, hard look at himself. Ball outside the 50. Big pack at the drop. Claiming it was Fletcher. Dragged down immediately. Campbell did well. Chain of hand passes. Nicely worked. Vandenberg. He's kicked a few goals this season. Looking to bend that one back. Didn't. Behind.
So it's not the most traditional of forward setups at the moment, and considering how heavily they scored last week, Dermot, I wasn't at the game, but is it a similar sort of forward setup? They got Smalls, they got Bateman and Crawford essentially at the moment playing in a set position up forward.
Bateman's the crummer for the ball deep into the forward line. They basically play two centre half forwards inside the 50, and somebody's pushing up the ground a little bit, but still a forward.
Bristow to McKay, breaks away. Kicks towards midfield. Mansfield interfered with by Leckis will get the free kick. Just over 13 minutes till quarter time. Carlton by 4 points, but Hawthorn have settled now after Carlton came out fired up in the opening few minutes, particularly Corey McKernan. Bristow swings it out wide. Beaumont's on the wing. Again, needs a lead, gets it to, and drops the ball into the path of Gallagher.
It's risky high possession footy at the moment from Carlton. They're not prepared to bomb long. They're trying to find targets, and Hawthorn with their whole 18 players in a half of the ground really pressing at the minute.
Gallagher's kick inside 50 to a big pack. Barker is the man from behind for Hawthorn. Crawford's broken out wide. He'll get it on the next handball, you gather. Leckers inside. There he goes. Cox to Crawford. Runs the centre wing. Kicks out wide. Didn't blaze away. Harford's the man. Now they need some runners inside. One of them's Vandenberg. And Dermot, he has found 2 metres of pace this year.
He's always been genuinely quicker, but what he's done is he's adapted to, well, the knowledge of where to run in league footy, and he set off. You call that Crawford was looking like getting it on the rebound out wide. Vandenberg, if you could express that screen a bit wider, Vandenberg has already run through the middle off the half back line area, and that's where he ends up. He's had a 110-metre sprint there, full tilt, rewarded running.
Beautiful running for the year. He's kicked 9 goals, 1 this season. So Richie Vandenberg comes in. Make that 9 goals, 2.
I reckon 9 goals, nothing.
9
almost.
goals. Make that 9 goals, 3, because he's kicked 2 behinds tonight. So Hawthorn now 4 behinds. Carlton 1-1-7. We've played 11 minutes.
Short one in. Christou.
Well, Carlton's numbers are only 15-20 metres away straight down the ground from Ange Christou, and they're still there. There's no long options.
Eccles. Short. McKay. Beaumont on the burst. Down towards half forward. Houlihan. Knocked away by Cox. Out of bounds it goes. Great destructive work.
It appears that Hawthorn are going to back their leg speed in, I think, Dermot. They're prepared to push really hard defensively, and then when they win the footy, if it's a leg race, they're going to back themselves in to head back towards goal.
Holland just peeling off out of the pack there, top of screen. If they get a quick run here, he's in.
Simon Cox in very good form this season across the ground. McCabe stood his ground, feeds it wide. Foot race. Bateman falling to the ground. Rees down towards half forward. Cleared Crawford. Misjudged it completely. Franchina had against the boundary line across the body. Rebound opportunity for the Blues. Gallagher. Houlihan in space. Short one is on. Lappin fumbles. Ample time to recover. Comes back to the middle. Bradley. 65 metres out Bradley. We've got a whistle. And a free kick, I think, is going to Carlton.
For holding.
Against Jake Rawlings.
Guess who's got it? Big Corey, I think, is going to get the free kick. Oh, this could mean anything.
Here's the explanation.
No, I think it's going to go to Lance.
He's trying to get it now.
The umpire rather breathless.
Yeah, Rawlings' direct opponent was Whitnell.
So Whitnell, big kick here, 35 metres out. Well, umpire goes a long way behind.
Yeah. Well, he's had the yips as well at Lance Whitnell. We speak about Chris Grant, and he's attracted a lot of heat. Lance Whitnell's had the kicking yips as well in recent weeks.
He's kicked 8 goals, 10 going into tonight, so now he's 9-11. Rees with his 5th possession from defensive 50 out wide to the wing. Out of side, Leckers in rare touch. Gary Lyons says up for All-Australian selection at this stage of the season. Centres it up. Have a look at this. Graham has got away and the Hawks run. Hay from full back. Handballs inside McKay. Probably the last bloke at Hawthorn to have a shot if you had your pick. Now the ball comes to Barlow. And from that one, he's the second worst bloke to have a shot at the goal because he's missed it, almost the complete target, and through for the 5th behind to Hawthorn. So they're 5 points. Carlton 1-2-8. It's the Blues by 3 points. We've played nearly 14 minutes in the opening term. Murphy getting a little bit of attention.
Looked like he was holding his knee there initially, Eddie. I hope it's not the case, but he did look to be pretty sore. Yeah, down he goes. Well, it didn't appear to be too much in it. Just he was 3rd in line there. So
He might have just banged his knees, you said, Gary.
34 possessions to Hawthorn at the 14-minute mark. 44 to Carlton. They've had a little bit more of the footy, but they have gone shorter.
copped it in the melon, in actual fact, not the knee. Bit of blood there, so he came off for the blood rule. I tell you what, this wave running of Hawthorn's at the moment, they are running as hard and in as bigger numbers as I've seen all season, I think. They are backing themselves in physically. 3rd in line, 3 heads there.
Yep,
bang, bang, bang.
Walter Lindrum would be proud of that one.
The cannon.
So Christou gets another chance. A reprieve, kicks in. High ball. Good mark, Graham. Hit the ground running 60 metres out, not his best effort, but it could be advantageous. Storming across, though, was Gallagher. It seemed for a moment Dixon was in. As we go down to Dr. Peter Larkins.
Yeah, Justin Murphy just feeling his teeth, Dennis, here, just to make sure they're all there. He's looking a little bit, got the staggers up a little bit, so certainly just a little bit unsteady on the feet. Probably a hit to the head, as you've called it.
Camporelli will take the kick out from fullback this time.
Hawthorn have a 16-man zone for the kicking. That's why Carlton are struggling to penetrate it here. If they break it, they could run it all the way, Carlton.
They go the old-fashioned way. Kick long to the ruckman. Houghton was the man. He couldn't quite take it. Over the line it goes. We'll have a throw in.
Well, that's extraordinary. They've, as you call it, Gary, they've backed themselves in for foot pace, which means that if Carlton clear that zone, there's only 2 Hawthorn defenders further afield. So they're backing their forwards to run down Carlton, carrying it away.
55 out from the Hawthorn goal. Lappin clears to centre wing. Adrian Cox tries to keep it in for a moment. Over the line and out of bounds. Hawthorn 6 points. Carlton a 1-2-8 and lead by 2. Coming up to the 16-minute mark of the first term.
Adrian Cox having a very good season, quietly. Campbell's in front. McKernan reaches over the top. Here's Cox, as if on cue, lays it off. Vandenberg hard against the boundary line. Gave it away. McKay escorted across the line by Chick.
Don't break Daniel Chick's tackle. He is the league leader at the moment.
Another boundary throw in. Carlton by 2 points. McKernan with strength. Cox in the road, though, with the right boot. Floats it inside the 50. Big pack. Barker flew over the top. Beaumont, the crumb. Up from the back pocket. Sends play back towards the wing. McKernan, great chance here. Fingertips to it. Couldn't hang on. Simon Cox once more across the body. And Barker takes the mark 55 metres out. Lucky kick. Barker in the right spot. Centres this one. That's a beautiful kick. Lakis. He started well, and like so many players now, wants to mark the mark.
That's the option they've got now, the Hawthorn midfield in particular. They can take their taggers if they're getting heavily tagged down the last line with a degree of confidence, because they can lead out of the square, they can convert, and it just makes them such a hard side to match up on.
This for the lead. Angelo Lakis tugs it way left. They're getting there by increments. 7 plays 8.
We might try and take a look down the ground and see Hawthorn. There's the 2 blokes at the top of the screen near the second umpire, right down the middle. And they put a few numbers back now. There's a 15-man zone there, so they pressed up for that last one, but they're holding it in.
Oh boy, Carlton ran around in circles.
And that's exactly what they're doing. They're pushing big numbers up for the zone.
And Pickering hit Chick. Now the famous number 17, can you believe it was 30 years ago this weekend that Michael Tuck, who wore that number for 426 games, an AFL record, made his debut.
Yep, 30 years ago. He only finished a couple of years ago.
Wanted to keep going too, and probably could have anywhere else. As Chick comes in, it's going to come back, it's going to come back, but it's hit the post. So Chick has 2 behinds. The equal top scorer with Vandenberg for Hawthorn tonight. And it's 8 points apiece. Carlton have done it with 3 scoring shots, Hawthorn with 8.
Well, it is this zone that is causing the problems. There's no doubt about that. They've created scoring opportunities because of their ability to pressure Carlton into making a mistake.
Here's Eccles, short, intended for Fletcher, just outside the defensive 50. Plays on by Ham. They charge through the middle. Pickering kicking down towards half forward, but Cox is in the road. Adrian Cox off his step back towards midfield. Chance for the Hawks here. Plenty of runners outside. Graham alongside the centre circle. Probing kick. High ball. Barlow. Well, he's directly in front. 30 metres out. Can they post their first goal here? They've kicked 8 behind so far. Carlton a 1-2. Scores a level. This for the lead. Chris Grant would love to play in this team. He'd be anonymous.
That's something that Ange Christo and Simon Beaumont won't want to have a look at again.
Tackled him.
He's got to get this one. Well, a bit of drama, but it's through. Hawthorn get their first goal.
Keystone Cox stuff there, wasn't it?
Now, if Simon Beaumont had a Hawthorn jumper on, you wouldn't even complain about the free kick being awarded against it. He actually tackled. Mark Graham's done well there. He's got away from Houghton, who's playing as a forward on him. See Houghton forward of him. Too much space. He's tackled him out of it. It's extraordinary. And Chris Barlow is a very good set shot. Still not a handsome kick, though, was it?
Welcome back. Hawthorn get their first goal. They lead by that margin. Inside 50 marks so far. Hawthorn 5, Carlton 1 as Bradley tries to turn that around. Kicks it inside 50. Cox was up. In fact, it's a free kick for shepherding. And it's going to go the way of Lance Whitmore.
Well, it's a couple of times been paid against Jade Rawlins for holding. So you just wonder whether Rawlins is worried about the physical strength. No, he's not. Don't have to be worried about anything with that. That is a disgraceful decision.
I'd imagine if the two Carlton boys don't want to see that tape again, I don't think the umpire would like to see that one.
50-50 from this spot. Lance Whitmore. Boy, do they need this one. He comes in. It looks off the side of the boot. It doesn't make the distance. Almost a mark on the goal line to big Corey McKernan. It's forced through for a behind.
He looks better tonight, though, Corey. He does look like he's got a better attack on it there. That's what the free kick was there. The pinning of that right hand for a second. And, well,
that was no free kick.
Have a look at the Carlton zone ahead. That's pretty wide. And Simon Cox is probably one of the best deliverers of the ball in terms of foot passing in the league, so he should be able to pin one through this.
Low trajectory ball. Whitnell was touched in front of him. Slapped off the ground there by half it out wide. McKernan over it. Played it pretty well. Freeborn from 65 metres out. Lappin.
That is as good a pass as you'll ever see, because the defender there, McCabe, was right on Lappin's hammer, but you could not have delivered that any better. That was beautiful work, and again McKernan was involved in that. As Dennis called it, was able to keep his feet, keep the foot in front of himself, and created this opportunity. But gee, that's a beautiful kick.
I can't believe this stat. Matthew Lappin has kicked 3 career goals against Hawthorn, 1 at St Kilda and 2 while at Carlton. Going at his 4th career goal then against the Hawks, but he's missed.
Good work, is it?
It explains it.
Yeah, he's had 300 shots at it, though.
He wouldn't have missed one like that since the under-9s, I reckon, Matthew Lappin.
He must know those figures.
Yeah, that's a shank.
Well, there you go. Chris Grant sitting back smoking a cigar at home now.
Interesting too, you see the zone here. They know that someone like Cox kicking out, well, I was about to say, rarely taps it on his foot and plays on, but he was a spot up that they were so deep away from.
Corey McKernan takes a screamer. Just wanted that for Corey. And he's done it beautifully. Now he sets up the chance for his teammates. Fletcher. Carlton have had the ball for the last 5 minutes or so. They need to be rewarded.
See, the goal square's vacant. They'll actually try and converge to there. They're out wider than that, and they don't know how to get in there, Carlton.
Bradley dropped the pill. McKernan with a sweeping handball at the Freeborn. Back to McKernan. He's going to have to take somebody on. He does the blocking. Gives it back to Freeborn. Opens it up for McKay. McKay's going to be run down. Breaks the tackle. Over the top to Camporelli. Dropping the ball, says the umpire. No play on. Now they go again. The Hawks are all over the top of the Blues. It comes out the back. McKernan claps it inside 50. Lappin to the front. Gets one. 2 hands. No. Paid the mark to Campbell. There's a few hands on that one, but Campbell had enough of it.
What about the pressure of Chick and Vandenberg? That's as good a tackling as we've seen this year. Unrelenting.
Simon Cox over the top to Graham. Left foot kick up towards the half-forward flank position. Holland wanted it the most. Got to the front and took the mark.
Reese has run through the line further down, and Nick will try and spot him up. He's going to go longer to Barker.
Nick Holland, 75 metres from goal. Some indecision, comes back towards the middle. Graham causing a few problems for the Blues. Kicks inside the 50. From behind Crawford. Almost the chance for Leckers. Sockers off the ground down towards full forward. Coming up to meet the ball, Christou fell over. Beaumont's got it dragged off it by Dixon. Socked forward by Leckers. Over the ball, Gallagher. And the umpire says, I will ball it up. Leckers not happy.
It's a bit of concern to Peter Swap. They've had so much of the play inside their forward 50, and they've only managed to score 1 goal. You look at the numbers down there as well. Trying to crowd it.
Houghton, who played so well last week, fell at his feet. Barker crashes down. Freeborn over the top.
I'd back this Hawthorn attack one out in conventional forward line play, but they just haven't seemed to have had a conventional structure for the whole quarter. They pushed numbers down into Carlton's forward line.
Graham.
That's a good hit.
Knocked away by McKay. Bateman running out of space. Left it behind. Gallagher away with the footy. Just over 2.5 minutes till quarter time. This is Pickering on the outer side. Hawks lead by 4 points to the wing. McKernan couldn't hang on. Lappin down in front. Over the ball, Freeborn. Claim from behind McCabe. Down goes Cox. Freeborn over the top. Vandenberg put the body in. Lappin arrived late. Whistle, ball up. Outer side. They're playing for keeps at the moment. Hawthorn 1-8. Carlton 1-4.
Well, you'd assume that if Carlton thought that there any chance to go anywhere this season, this is their season on the line. They've got another 15 games to perhaps win 10 more or 11 more.
McKernan versus Campbell. Campbell gets the tap. Adrian Cox again. Kicks forward for the Hawks. Great courage from all concerned, and man's been cleaned up by his own man, Camporelli. And up he gets. He's a tough boy, Glenn Manton.
It's commitment, isn't it? That's what it is.
Fantastic.
Both ran at it.
And early in Camporelli's career, people said that he perhaps was a little bit iffy. If there's any doubters still out there, just have a look at that.
All three players just pure eyes for the ball there.
He might have had the lights out there for him. Watch the back go into...
Oh, hold on. Let's get back to the action, because there is a bit of action happening as too. Harford getting stuck in it.
Here it is.
Free kick to Hawthorn. They go forward. Crawford through his hands. Free kick from the back.
Well, soft. It is definitely soft. But
umpires are a bit whistle happy, boys.
They are. The Whitnell one at the other end is an indicator that they're going to go soft.
Free kick. Give him the ball, Glenn. Otherwise, if he sticks it. Hits it. It was a long way after the ball. He pushed him in the back. That's the way it is. Here's the mark here. Right on the mark.
Well, that's the explanation. You like to see football, though, as we know it. That's true.
It's okay, but just don't you worry about it.
Crawford comes in. Kicks Hawthorn second. They lead by 10 points.
Well, they really need the goal. They had enough of the footy. They had 10 scoring shots to 5, so they needed to get a little bit of reward. Here's the incident. Soft as butter.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Soft as butter, as soft as the one up the other end. So it evens itself out. Hawthorn have been able to make the most of the opportunity. Lance Whitnell, of course, missed down the other end. So they did need that, Hawthorn.
Shane Crawford averaging 26 possessions a game this season. He averaged 29 in 99 when he won the Brownlow. Campbell was up to hook it down. Freeborn trying hard. Kicks inside the 50. Loose ball at the back. Hawthorn with some poise. This is Hay. Chips it out wide. Vandenberg decides to run close to the boundary line. A third bounce carries him up towards the wing. A fourth bounce. Kicks down towards half forward over the head of Barker. Waiting behind a chance for Barlow. Good tackle by Christou. Interesting hand pass Barlow. Challenge down there was Mansfield. Barker got his arms free. Leckers over the top. Dixon inside the 50. Goes Goldwood. He's off the target. It bounces through for a behind.
Vandenberg again involved in that, and I'm just watching Camporelli. He is really struggling coming off the ground as we speak.
Hard, isn't he?
He can't go with Richie Vandenberg.
I reckon he's done his hamstring.
2 possessions to Scott Camporelli.
Or he might have just... We'll go down to Peter Larkin in a moment. I think he might have maybe got a knee in that incident with Holland before. Anyway, McCabe kicks it to the goal square. Flying from behind was Barlow. Fall of the ball is Manton. Did it well. Got the handball working to Gallagher. Gallagher clears the 50. Lappin a long way down from the forward pocket. Marks at half-back flank to Houlihan. Lappin kept running. Deserves to be rewarded. They square it up to Whitnell. Now to Lappin. Takes the bounce. Handball's on. McKay bursting through the lines. Gets tripped.
Good free kick in the end. Smart free kick.
If they can play this strategically, Carlton, they're going to do all right here.
Whitnell kept running. Now he handballs inside. Chance on the burst for McKernan, but getting back. Magnificent football with Shane Crawford. Crawford kicks long. Chance for Eccles for Carlton. Gets up, takes a strong mark. Didn't take the mark, umpire said. And there's the quarter-time siren. We'll go to
frustrations, I'd suggest, right there. Can he go on with it? Start of the second term. Hawthorn lead by 11 points, 2-9 to 1-4. Umpire very deliberately put it down. McKernan up to knock it down. Leckis knocks it through the pack, follows up, sockers it down towards half forward. Almost picked it up. Could have been taken high. Leckis. He'll get the free kick.
Didn't quite get down to it, did he? He was going to put the head over it, and they said if your head's over it, you're not fair game.
Leckis 55 metres out, feigns to kick deep and goes short. And this mark to Vandenberg is only about 15 metres closer to goal, if that. He'll kick from about 40.
15 and 1 centimetre. Just got the required.
It's a powerful kick, Vandenberg. Got a wonderful goal last week on the run.
Does go a long way from right to left, normally.
So a goal here, and the margin will be out to 17 points. Richie Vandenberg close to the man on the mark, working it back right to left. It's touch and go. I think it's go.
Well, he's certainly stepped up this year, hasn't he? I mean, most teams, you look at what the clubs call their middle rung of players and say we can go somewhere if we get a middle rung player actually step up. And Richie Vandenberg is the epitome of that statement. He's taken on Scotty Camperelli. He's shown a bit too much foot speed for the recently included Camperelli. And he goes forward this year. He presses forward with that blistering pace, and he's kicking goals.
So Vandenberg's kicked 1 goal 2 for the evening, taking his year total now up to 10 goals 3.
Ed?
And they've kicked away 17 points.
Sorry, Carlton have gone in with a 3-man forward line with this bounce.
Good play by Campbell. McKernan tried to flick it out. Campbell had another touch on it. Now it's Houlihan for Carlton.
Nothing ahead.
Kicks around the body to the wide open spaces and hopes. It was a very good kick in the end because there was no one there for Carlton. Camperelli picking up a stat, unfortunately, on the wrong side of the boundary line. Handballs it back to the boundary umpire. We'll have a throw in at half-forward flank.
Right in the middle of that pack there. I reckon Craig Bradley will be saying, get on, Camperelli, because I got Vandenberg at the moment.
Good throw in by the boundary umpire. At the back it comes from that man, Vandenberg. Mansfield grabbed high. Will take the free kick. Advantage paid. Christou out wide to Beaumont. To Bradley on centre wing. Running into troubles. Beaumont ducked the head, threw it away. Now the Hawks through Crawford. Slipping. Has plenty of time. Handballs into the centre of the ground. Turns it over. Eccles crunch through.
He's hurt Reese.
Hard bodies there. Vandenberg goes down and the umpire's picked out the free kick.
Nick Reese got poleaxed. That's him on the deck now.
Crawford throws it out. Leckis. Centre wing. Members side of the MCG. Dixon. Inside 50. Barker's the man he wants. Up he goes. McKay got his hands to the ball. Manton slaps it forward. McKay looking and finding the boundary line. Right on the forward 50 for Hawthorn as Rees comes to the bench and we'll have a throw in.
That's it.
Oh, ouch.
A tough kid, Nick Rees. That's going to hurt anyone.
Boundary throw in just outside the attacking 50 then. Hook down in front. Barlow. Crawford. Good evasion. Spots a man towards the middle. Interesting kick. Vandenberg hacks his way through. Sets sail for home. 35 metres out. Tugs it left. Hits the post. 10 behinds now to Hawthorn.
Well, Craig Bradley's just giving him too much latitude there through the midfield. He saw Bradley on the burst going the other way, held up play. Not even in frame there, Braddles.
He's third behind. He's kicked 2 goals. Beaumont. Houlihan. Looking up towards the wing. Not much to kick to. Had to wait for Whitnell. Directs it down to Gallagher. Gallagher certainly outnumbered, as you can see. Just a matter of time. Now the cavalry arrive. Freeborn. Gallagher had 1 go. Comes back to him. Well played. Gets the hand pass away to Whitnell. 60 metres from goal. Eccles. He's marked 52 metres out. Interesting player. Not very quick, but a lot of ability. Uses the ball generally very well. Goes looking for the man on the lead down there, Livingston. Hit his hands, bounced away. Lappin camped over the footy. Not coming out. Ball up.
You could think of better assignments, couldn't you, for young Livingston? So like Corey McKernan out of form last week, he lines up on Dustin Fletcher. Young Livingston comes in tonight. He's on the All-Australian fullback, Jonathan Hay. Nick Reeves on the bench there. Looked like he had an ice pack on the side of the jaw.
McKernan slaps it forward. Crawford, beautiful play. Look away handball was good. To Rawlings.
Touch.
Tallis.
I'm inboard.
Cox running with the ball. Fumbled it. Still has time to slap it on the boot. Close to the boundary line. Over it goes. We'll have a throw in. Dr. Peter Larkins, an update on the injuries.
Yeah, Nick Reeves got a hit in the left side of his throat, Ed, so they're just concerned that he may have had some breathing problems there, so he's icing up just around the bruising on the side. Just see the incident coming here. Ooh, very hard hit, so took a little bit in the side of the jaw, and Camporelli not moving well at all with a bad corking.
Shane Crawford blisters away from the pack. Hand passes inside the 50. Deep in the pocket. Dixon tries to pull it back. Nothing doing. Out of bounds on the full.
That's Shane Crawford back at Assumption College playing against Xavier. Run up, grab it out of the ruck, have a bounce, and nearly do it all on his own. That's the sort of form he's in at the moment.
He was dynamic last week. Manton out of the back pocket. High ball towards half-back. Nobody touched it on the way through. Half it at close quarters. Campbell. Hodge. Miscues with a hand pass. Adrian Cox feigns a hand pass. Slips a tackle. Back to Hodge. Charge down. Good pressure by the Blues. McKernan on the deck. Got it to Freeboard. Gallagher tries to knock it forward. Second chance for Gallagher. Took too long. Run down by McCabe. Bradley in the grasp. Got the hand pass away. This is Eccles. Arches the back. Slips through. Kicks down towards half forward. Houghton comes on the lead. Couldn't control it. Confronted by Tallis. Freeborn. Eccles. Interesting. Headed the ball back to himself. Little kick down towards half forward. Getting back is Crawford, sensing the danger. And the danger now is past. Harford back to Crawford.
Carlton had about half a dozen possessions there. None of them were clean. In the meantime, Hawthorn mop it up beautifully. Cox over the top to Barlow. He's fumbling as well. Harford. Back to Cox. This time Cox gets a clear kick and hits Tallis on the chest. Centre wing out on the members' side of the MCG. Raiden Tallis kicks to the forward 50. Out comes Holland. Flies from behind. Couldn't quite take the mark, but put his opponent out of business. Now he kicks to the square, hoping for Chick. Shepherding the ball, slaps it forward. McKay did it beautifully.
Great work,
Manton went to ground, though. It's picked up by Hodge. His kick is across the face of goal and over the line and out of bounds on the full. Carlton free kick from the back pocket.
He was fantastic, and also that's why Daniel Chick can play at that position as well without getting a lot of the footies but still have an influence. I mean, McKay was so exceptional, but Chick, big body, stand the ground, just keep the ball in front of him and present an opportunity for another crumbing forward. It was a great contest. Andy McKay's a star.
Eccles comes towards the wing. Freeborn gave a contest. Dixon with finesse and courage. Fine mark coming back. Man wants it long in the square. It's Graham, I think. That's ignored. He goes to the middle, not the carry. Intended for Holland. And Gallagher having a good 10 minutes or so. To Eccles, likewise. Goes towards the outer side. Corey, bad bounce. Campbell didn't have the footy. McKernan needs a bit of luck. Didn't get it there. McCabe keeps it in front. Socked towards the boundary by Cox, and out it goes. The margin 18 points.
He's having a good go tonight, Corey. No one could blame him for any of that situation. He got a bad bounce, and then he just threw his body in left, right and centre. Probably a free kick to Campbell. McKernan gets the tap. But reading the ball better is that man Crawford again. From the throw-in, the clearances have been 8-1 Hawthorn's way. Lucky bounce on this occasion. Pickering for Carlton. Beaumont's handball missed the target. Franchini did it well. Back to Pickering. Pickering finds Freeborn. Releases Eccles. Centering. Now they go forward. Whitner waiting behind. Houghton at the front for Carlton. Picked up by McCabe to Graham, who just threw the ball. Underground handball was beauty from Rawlings to McCabe to Barker. Good play by Freeborn into the back of the pack. Beaumont. Franchina. Carlton are just mucking around with the ball, though it's turned over again. Here comes Cox. The punishment will be swift and hard if this bloke Chick can pick it up. It's Chick. Does the big U-turn. Handballs without the finger. Gets it over to Hodge, I think it was, and he kicks his second of his career. Hodge kicks the goal, and the Hawks go further clean out.
Well, once you saw that the play opened up where Cox got on the end of it in the middle of the ground, you saw a lot of space in front of Andy McKay, who really gets beaten in foot speed, and there's probably only, you know, 2 or 3 blokes in Hawthorn who could beat him for foot speed out at the ball, and unfortunately for Andy McKay, he had one of them, and that was Daniel Chick, who just showed a lot of power off the mark and ended off dishing off to that young man there, Luke Hodge.
Happened a couple of times last Friday night. Carlton under pressure really exposed the ball to the corridor very early.
They're not going to score here either too much. You wouldn't think the game they're playing, Carlton.
No. Bradley across the body down towards half forward. Whitnell, unkind bounce. Houghton over the footy, traps it. Still Houghton on his knees to the voice. McKernan 55 metres out and loads down towards full forward. Well worked by Hay, very strong. And the ball played against the behind post. A boundary throw in coming up.
They don't look confident about going long at all. And when you look at it, Lance Whitnell's at the moment. Rawlings is doing a good job on him. It's a good contest, but then they've got Graham and Hay as backups. So they've got him pretty well covered at the minute.
Whitnell did well. Uncanny to grab that ball cleanly. But Hay, a chance to bring it away, slips. A little bit of rust there. Rawlings, Harford, kicks towards the defensive 50. Clever by Graham. I think that was his intention. Bit stiff. McKernan gave it away. McCabe breaks away. They could be punished again. This is Johnson. Johnson on the wing. Lead comes from Barlow. He ignores that. Goes over the top of Barlow. In front down there was Hodge. Met solidly by Manton. Going over the top. Presto. Claiming him was Johnson. Whistle and a ball up.
Fair effort by the kid, the #1 draft pick, strong body, stood his ground in the contest. We see him and Judd and these fellas coming in from the under-18 competition, and they lose nothing when it comes to standing their ground in a marking contest.
You watch this one here. He hits the hip of Manton there, and he's not puppy fat either. He's all rock solid.
Vandenberg tries to break the tackle. Dixon is in there. Throw in. Dr. Peter Larkinson's been busy tonight.
Yeah, Scott Camporelli's given up trying to run the boundary out. He's taken the strapping and padding off his cork thigh, and they're just icing him up and getting some good pressure on it, but you'd have to worry that he may not get back tonight with it.
Crawford on Bradley, way left of screen in the goal square, 1 out.
Manton over the top. Mansfield crashing through, but the tackling is good. Leckis has another go. Beaumont in there for Carlton. Hodge, I think, tried to knock it out. Tallis, good play. Johnson. Here's Hodge again. Play on surely, says the umpire. Yes, Dixon breaks through. 45 out. Sweeping handball. Adrian Cox from 40 metres. Kicks it over goal. And Hawthorn are away. They lead by 5 goals.
Well, Ben Dixon there was almost desperate to get a shot at goal. But in the end, what he was able to do by hanging onto the footy was draw players to him. And once they came to him, it just opened up for Adrian Cox, who was out on the other side of the ground there. He's had a really good first half as the boy Cox. In fact, both Coxes are standing up, Dermot.
.10, 1-4, the margin 30 points. Time remaining, you can see it there. Rucks go at it. Houghton undersized. Campbell slaps it wide. Slipping over was Crawford. Spills to Bradley. Now the champ's away. Kicks well inside the 50. Graham came hard. Got a fist on it. Down in front of chance for Crawford. Got the crumb. Tallis. Simply too much talent at the present time. Tallis's kick though. Not good. Fletcher goes back. Drops the mark. Spots Beaumont, comes to him now. Up ahead is Freeborn. Bradley between the pair. Now it's with Freeborn. 75 metres out, pulls it back towards the middle. They'll try again. Whitnell braces himself in front. Ball bounces on its point, came back to him. He's dragged down. McKernan tries to go to Houlihan, knocked away by Cox. Houlihan gets through, goes for the outside of the boot and kicks a goal.
Well, if you to describe that one, Gary, it could be very similar to the one that Ben Dixon created at the other end. Lance Whitnell actually brought the ball down and gave a little well done when he did it. He brought the ball down, held onto it, and he takes 2 tacklers. Corey McKernan just puts it over the top, sort of nondescript, but Houlihan was able to read it. And somehow, amongst about 5 Hawthorn defenders, there was a path through for it.
Made a bit of a blue, Adrian Cox then. Just tried to be a little bit cute by tabbing it to himself. In that situation, just kill the contest.
So Carlton finally get their second goal. They kicked the opening goal of the game at the 4-minute mark of the first term. It's taken to the 14-minute mark of the second to get their second major, and a free kick in the centre of the ground. Umpire Gavin Dorr directing the traffic. It'll go Hawthorn's way. Vandenberg drives it long inside 50. Holland across the front of the pack. Mansfield for Carlton. The look-away handball was to Christou. Thumps it onto the boot into the centre of the ground. Three Hawks fly. The fall of the ball, Houlihan. He gave it up, though. Harford back to Tallis. Great smother by Eccles. Campbell.
Good on the ground, young Campbell.
Yeah, he did it well.
McCabe transfers play. Rawlings holds the ball up. There's plenty in the middle of the ground.
Harford coming off.
And Bateman coming on for the Hawks.
He'll get it, Bateman, if he runs upside on.
No one on the mark, so Rawlings says, I'll run 15 and kick at 15 to Cox in the middle.
That's what Carlton do. They flood back, so if you can come off the half-back line and look short into the square, and that player can then play on.
Kick into the forward 50, looking for Chick Lekas. It's a bad bounce at the last minute, over the line and out of bounds. Throw in 40 metres out from the Hawthorn goal. They lead by 24 points. We've played 16 minutes in the second term at the MCG.
Scott Camperelli on the bench there. He looks like he's done for the night there. But Carlton put extra numbers about 60 metres back behind the ball. So if you come forward and just chip kick, you'll find your own numbers in there in between.
And I reckon Murphy's gone for the night as well. I think his concussion might have been a little bit worse than we first thought.
I think so, Eddie. And the great fear now is as this game opens up, you can't keep that sort of pressure that Carlton had on early. I fear that Hawthorn are going to smash them in the second half. They are running so hard. I don't think Carlton will be able to go with them.
Boundary throw in. Houghton. Hand pass intended for McKay. Stolen by Chick. Pulls it back. Plenty of Blues get back. Livingston, the clever mark.
Yeah, that's a risky one, isn't it, when you run back like that and you want to take it cleanly in the hands. And when you're young and inexperienced, you have a go at them. And that's where the excitement in the game is a lot of the time with the juniors.
Hugs the boundary line with a kick. Whitnell could have been held by the arm. Nothing doing. It's out of bounds. It'll be tossed in. Just over 8 minutes till half-time. Hawthorn 40. Carlton 16.
Hard out at the Hawks in this second quarter. 9-3 in the hardball get area. They do commit their bodies.
To say, too, this crowd has built up late. Down in front. Cranage scrambles it up towards the wing. Missed by Graham. Opportunity for Whitnell. He's tried hard. Feeds it wide. Eccles has been very good. Back to Whitnell. Forward of the wing. Spots a man running into space. Houlihan. He can take it and go. Well, he stumbled. He certainly was flirting with the idea. Should I, shouldn't I? He slammed the brakes on, but given half a chance, he would have scampered.
I've got to say, Shane Crawford on that occasion, we sung his praises, well, all year really, but he allowed Houlihan to run past him, and just a touch of, I'd say, arrogance. Yep. I think he backed in his teammates to win the 50-50, so he could have been heading back the other way. He didn't, and it was too late once he realised Houlihan had the jump on him. So just a little touch of cockiness sneaking into this Hawthorn team.
Eccles 12 possessions. I just get the feeling they've defined his role a little better tonight, and as a result, on the end of it, Houlihan kicks the goal. He's got two.
Certainly talented.
Well, for all the talk, they're back within 3 goals, the Blues.
Yep. And they've worked their way into it. Just they get in their goals forward of the play, like somebody will get themselves free of the play like that one, and they've had to take that little bit of risk element and run forward because there's nobody in the forward line. They're having to run forward of the play.
For all their dominance, Hawthorn now lead by just 3 goals with 7 minutes and 23 seconds left on the clock in this, the second term. Houghton gets the tap. That's 10-1. Centre taps up forward, and Big Lance has stuck out that ample posterior and taken the mark. He's handballed it on, and Carlton have missed through Davies.
Like the way he moved last week, young Davies, and he wouldn't like that result though. Justin Davies.
I'd like to have seen Lance maybe go back.
Yeah, you stamp your authority on the game. If you take a mark at centre half forward inside 50 and you're dead set in front, you drive it home.
McCabe kicks off. Beaumont judged it well.
He's playing up forward now, Beaumont.
55 metres out. What is that? To two Hawthorn players. Rawlings got the hand pass away. They're under pressure. They'll work it away, though. Rawlings, McCabe. Needed a kick. He hand passes. Holland deep in his own defensive area. They're making it interesting. Hay combines with Holland. A kick eventually. Not his best effort. Taken in the opposite pocket by Eccles. Again, Whitnell plays on this time. Runs into an open goal. And I think he's got it. He has. They're celebrating his second.
Well, Nick probably had too much time there, Nick Holland, to actually think, and that was a bad thing. You see him here. I like the fact that they actually didn't panic at any stage, but what they did, they fell for the old three-card trick there, Dennis. They gave him so much time, and Nick just wasn't able to utilise his skills to best advantage and find the boundary.
That's a virtue. They didn't panic, but they did screw it up.
Yeah, they did.
Welcome back to the MCG. Lance Whitnell kicks his 100th goal at the MCG, and what a beauty it was. It gets the Blue Baggers back within 11 points. They have kicked the last 3 goals in the last 6 minutes of play in this, the second term. Carlton lifting. Houghton gets a tap again. In goes Bradley. Davies over the top of the ball for the Blues. Houlihan there. Dixon for Hawthorn. Back to one of the hard nuts in Freeborn. He releases Bradley, who kicks it high in the air. Lappin is the flyer. There was shepherding going on left, right and centre. But the umpire says we'll pay the mark to Rawlings. He goes wide.
Chicks one out way down the line if they can move it in quick.
Tallis at half forward. Chips it inside towards Bateman and Dixon. Dixon took the mark. No, half volley, said the umpire. Mansfield hard at the ball. He's grabbed and thrown to the ground. We'll have a ball up. 60 metres from the Hawthorn goals. It's 11 points the difference.
Going to argue, Ben Dixon?
Don't argue.
Don't think so.
Been very admirable, the Blues. They've been able to find something. I think since I said will get smashed, they kicked 3 in 5 minutes.
That was the catalyst. Inside the 50, Johnson knocks it to McCabe, lays it off to Cox. He could kick this. No, he's missed.
Carlton are trying to free up Andrew McKay, so they pushed him over onto the half-back flank on young Johnson, which means that Gallagher is going to be asked to play in the goal square against Daniel Chick. They've just got to trust him for this last 4 or 5 minutes, young Gallagher. This Chick will expose him for pace off the mark and power.
Carlton have been terrific in the last 10 minutes. Crestu goes short. They'll work it out. Cranage back to Crestu. Steps around nicely, runs to 50, drives it high towards the outer side. Graham launches himself. A whistle. Carlton, we're going to get the free. Advantages paid. Lappin storms through the wing, kicks down towards half forward. Whitnell has been terrific. Missed that one. Adrian Cox the crumb. Swings it back towards the middle. Lecker slips. And maybe that was fortunate. 12 possessions tonight for Angelo Leckis. His season's high 35 against the Kangaroos. Short. This is Graham, prepared to push up the ground. Kicks inside the 50. Chick is the target. Fisted away by Pickering. Awkward one there for Crawford. Goes again. Tries to slap it wide. Dixon close to the boundary line, running out of space. Feeds it back. Kept alive by Johnson. Slapped back towards the middle by Dixon. Chopped off there by Bradley. Gets it across to Pickering. Arches the back and comes away. Inspirational stuff. He kicks towards the outer side. Foot race out there. Bateman missed it. So did Cranage. Bateman goes again. 2 young tyros. Well played, Bateman. Knocks it across to Hodge. The centering kick inside the 50. Holland was up. Loose ball at the back. A couple of Blues. McKay put the body in on Dixon. The hand pass, meantime, came from Freeborn. He got it across to Gallagher. Gallagher kicks it up towards the wing. Davies stood his ground. Stumbles. Gets the hand pass back. Gallagher on the burst. Over the top to McKernan. McKernan forward of half back. High ball down towards half forward. Big pack again. Whitnell almost directed it down. Houlihan. No one inside the forward 50. How will it run? It's going towards the line. Hit the post.
What a clever kick. He just rolled it end over end, Gary, and it was always going to run on an extra 40 metres.
It was a beauty, Doom. It sums up just how quickly that kid's football brain works and ticks over. He had a look, saw that there was nothing on.
He knew he couldn't outrun Hay.
No, he's a smart player.
That's stiff.
Very unlucky. Cox That's Simon Cox from half-back. The kick was a beauty. Straight down Tellis's throat to Vandenberg. Now they're starting to run the Hawks again. Out in front of Dixon. Mansfield has to run for the ball. This is Nick Stone. Free kick.
Actually went to ground first and he drew the free kick there. Clumsy by Mansfield.
Leckers from 55. Flying shot is off the side of the boot. Hawks short said, what about us? And through for another point. So Hawthorn move on to 5-12-42. Carlton 4-6-30. The margin 2 goals. We've played 25.5 minutes in the second term. It's been a good fight back by the Blues.
Been great. They've lifted their intensity, their work rate. They've got a couple of dangerous forwards in Houlihan and Whitnell who are causing a few problems.
Ange about to get the whistle. Gets the kick. Nice one too. Crenage on defensive 45. Left foot kick was good. Now this is Livingston. I said in the opening tonight he needed to put his hand up just to show the Carlton people there's some good young players around the club. And there we've seen a couple of them combine. This is Beaumont on nearly centre wing.
He's gone forward too, Eddie, which I reckon is a good move. Gives him another avenue through going through half forward. 14th possession for Simon Beaumont to half forward. Out comes Houghton. Houlihan has been explosive. Hugging the boundary line. He runs inside 50. He has a shot at the goal. And he's kicked it. He's kicked his third. Third from the corner. And Carlton back in the MCG.
Well, Adrian Cox is playing on Houlihan. He's been a creative backman, and Houlihan's exploiting that now. Houlihan's getting goal side of Cox, and I wouldn't... Yeah, well, there you go. Adrian Cox has been dragged as we speak. He's played himself into form, Adrian Cox, and he's just let Houlihan go, and he's punishing him now.
Well,
Cox is paying the price for it.
Don't underestimate the finish either. He's got great composure, and I think he's got great belief in his ability, Dermot, which is a wonderful thing to have when you're still just starting out in this caper. Chance Bateman is his new opponent. He's kicked 3 for the quarter. Lance has got 1 as well. They've only got 2 goal kickers, the Blues, but they are back right in this.
Exquisite finish. McKernan charges in Carlton with the last 4 goals. Whitnell flicks it out. Throw, says the umpire. Whitnell has been very good.
That's it, Craig. That's a mark.
Wonderful turn by the Blues against all the odds. That comes storming back. Now Crawford at half-back. Brief respite. Swings it out wide. Hay is pushed up. Can go over the top to Stone and does. Stone 75 metres from goal. Sets it up towards the middle. Going back, eyes only for the football. Pickering. Did well. Beaumont. What a transformation. Short. Houghton. Took it nicely by hand. Cranage alongside the centre circle. Kicks inside the 50. Whitnell held. He's got to get the free.
Was always gone, Jade Rawlings, the minute he slipped over and lost his feet.
Well, they're running a 2-man forward line, or 2-man inside the 50, but when the 2 are Whitnell and Houlihan, tonight at least, that's causing a lot of problems.
I'll take it.
It's good to see Lance Whitnell creating problems close enough to goal. People, they get nervous.
And great to see the young Carlton players and the blokes who are making the play. A bit of confidence, starts to get on a roll.
You can physically almost see them growing in self-belief at the moment. They're thinking, we are a dead-set chance.
You're onto it right then, though. It's the other guys pushing up, and that's what they've got with Beaumont playing half forward. He's pushing up, which is allowing Whitnell to stay home.
This to level the score. Who would have thought it? 3 goals to Whitnell.
You can rest assured that I didn't think it. Those 2 players have turned it around almost single-handedly. They have worked a lot harder, though. They've just started getting 50-50 footy. And this is the thing, we mentioned this pre-game. Put Lance Whitnell close to goal and his opponent gets nervous because they do things in, they think, well, the consequences here, if I lose my feet or he outmarks me, it's 6 points, whereas on the wing, it's nothing.
We are back, and within 14 minutes, Carlton have kicked 5 consecutive goals and scores a level at the MCG at 42 apiece. McKernan gets a tap, gets a toe poke in there too. Davies, Cranage, the young Blues starting to fire. Fletcher, after the old man himself. Bradley goes forward, a lucky bounce, almost comes out to Lance Whitnell. Good play by Rawlings. Handball's back. Crawford, sweeping handball into the middle of the ground to Leckers. He looks up. Carlton have manned up, man on man. It goes out wide. Southern stand side. Christou takes Barker out of the contest. Vandenberg is hard at the ball. So too has Fletcher, got one in the back. Should have got the free kick. Ange dives in on top. They lock it up. The Blues will have a bounce.
One thing that's going in Carlton's favour now, they're winning more of the centre bounce clearances, 9-2, yet Hawthorn are number 2 in the league list of centre bounce clearances. So Carlton are striking back there, but also when Hawthorn go forward, Barker and Holland, their 2 dual centre half forwards, have 8 possessions between them.
Dying seconds of the term. Bradley.
8 only, that is.
Rees at close quarters. Leckis throws it on the boot. Bounces down towards half forward. Manton in the road. Knocks it across the line. Clock stops at 21 seconds. 42 apiece.
Nick Stone has come onto the ground to replace Jade Rawlings on the danger man in Lance Whitnell. Probably won't be involved in a contest.
Tossed in. Will we see another score? McKay over the top. Simon Cox towards the boundary line. Rees, good to see him back. Took a heavy knock, pushes the ball across the line. He started very well, that young man.
Do we read anything into the fact that Hay hasn't been given a crack at Whitnell? Is he still not quite right? Would that be that, or are they just happy to have him on McKernan?
Trained fully on Wednesday.
Tossed in front of the pack. Christou, high up and under, close to the boundary. Off hands, out of bounds again. Throw-in clearances. Hawthorn 10, Carlton 4.
Well, they've dried up in the middle, Hawthorn. Vandenberg was finding plenty of it until this run of 5 goals unanswered by Carlton.
There's the siren. Momentum, a strange thing. Half-time in its way comes at a bad time for the Blues. Wonderful up forward.
Doesn't that bring back some great memories, Ed? And years of jet setting, and you've stayed loyal to the Hawks, Pat, flying down from the Gold Coast tonight just for this.
Yeah, well, I've got my tennis academy up there, the Gold Coast, but I can't be a Brisbane supporter. Always the Hawks, for sure.
Now, when you look at the scoreboard there, it's a bit like 2 sets all heading into the 5th, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the same in any sport, mate. If you don't take your chances, Hawthorn have kicked 12 behinds, and then, you know, Houlihan gets loose, and, you know, the Blues are back into it. So it's going to be tight.
Now, just give us a very quick tip for Wimbledon, which is coming up, of course.
Pete Sampras.
Pete Sampras?
Yeah, he's just we've got a great player.
Yeah, good odds at the moment, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, he's won so many times. You can't go past a guy like that if he's fired up.
Yeah, good on you, Pat. Great to catch up again.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Cashy. Thanks, TJ. Back into the 3rd quarter with scores level.
Okay, a high ball sending Carlton forward down towards their half-forward line. Graham missed it. Gets behind them. Bateman run over down there by Hay. Whitnell over his shoulder. Graham, nicely worked. Adrian Cox comes away, runs to centre half back, kicks up towards the wing. 2-on-1 for Carlton. Barker got rid of Christou, but it's a free kick for the Carlton defender. Christou.
Read that pretty well, Ange Christou. Barker knew he was the intended target, and Christou was shoulder and shoulder with him all year long. That he's been in good form. Barker, he's had an opponent by 5 metres.
Scores a level. McKernan got a hand to it. McCabe to Campbell. Dixon across half-back. Spears the pass into midfield. Taken by Simon Cox. Confronted by Eccles. Dragged down. Under pressure on the outer side. As a result is Harford. Prentice didn't have the footy. It matters not. Advantage is paid. Eccles got it from Manton. Lines up and misses. Not by much. Let's go down to the dock.
Yeah, Dennis, Scott Camporelli hasn't appeared after half-time, so you'd expect that cork thigh is creating concern. Justin Murphy, fortunately, back out there, so recovered from concussion. But 3 on the bench for Carlton, and Nick Holland starting on the bench this 3rd quarter, guys.
It's needed to take that Daniel Harford, and if he got tackled and given up a free kick, at least it would have given them time to get down and man up, but instead tried to be a bit cute, tapped the ball to himself, paid the price.
So Carlton back in front for the first time since early in the first term. McKay gets it out wide to Eccles around the corner. Just trying to squeeze the kick. Bowman couldn't take the mark. Bateman will get the free kick against McKay for holding.
Give it to him, Andrew! Give it to him!
There's a lot of numbers straight down this wing on that side. They'll look to try and change it inboard, Hawthorn, but Carlton are a wake up to this. A lot of teams know that Hawthorn like to change direction in defence.
50. Listen to the umpire.
Can't just keep walking over.
There you go.
About 1.5 metres right over then, by the time he kicked it.
So McKay just sneaking up. And the umpire right there, ready to go. It was like a Sharpshooter on the Western, wasn't he, ready to go? The umpire Coates. In the meantime, the kick's gone forward and Dixon has marked within scoring range.
That is unforgivable. And a 50-metre penalty, so there is time, probably 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And Ben Dixon finds himself inside 50 without an opponent.
Now watch this mark. A lot of players would have gone for the knee in the back, look for the spectacular. Ben Dixon read it. He almost went, but he thought, no, the mark in the book is looking exactly the same no matter which way you actually take the ball. Better to have the ball in your hands, shoot at goal.
Similar angle at the other end of the ground. He kicked the goal after the siren last year to sink the Blues. Dixon comes in. Here's their bogey man and has snuck it through for a goal. His first for the night, and the Hawks go back in front.
Well, they'd be asking the question, I would think, in the Carlton box exactly. I think Michael Mansfield might be Ben Dixon's opponent. Now, there he is. Here it is. This is great vision here. Mick Mansfield pointing to Dixon. I think he was calling Trent Hawthorn back, and Hawthorn didn't get back quick enough. So that's how he can get caught out. That is terrific camera work in that instance there. That is exactly how that happened. We asked the question. He'd be filthy, Mick Mansfield.
Ben Dixon only 9 career goals against Carlton, including 4 round 17 last season. It's been a long time since they kicked their last goal at the 12.5-minute mark of this second term. Hawthorn gathered here by Lappin, kicks inside the 50, hangs a long time in the air. Great mark, Whitnell. He's already put it 3.
I'll continue to ask the question. Exactly what is Jonathan Hay doing, or how is he physically? Because this man threatens to take the game by the scruff of the neck.
He's the matchup for him, Hay, isn't he?
Well, he's the obvious matchup. So whether or not he's still a little bit proppy after the back injury, I don't know. But he's too dangerous to take a bit of a punt with someone like Nick Stone, who's honest, but maybe out of his depth.
The goal here, and the Blues are back in front. It's been a virtuoso performance. Well, not that kick, or has he snuck it through? Just, it's a goal.
Gee, put some serious ugly on that, didn't he?
He's still yippy, but he's got 4 on the board.
Have a look at this. Campbell doesn't get to the hit there. And look, he's done well here, Lappin. He's overrun it accidentally, but in doing so, he's taken the 2 Hawthorn boys further with it. And he just knows where it's going, Lance Whitnell. He's one of the most intelligent key forwards going around, if not just about the.
4 goals to Lance Whitnell, 3 to Ryan Houlihan, and that is 7 goals for Carlton, and they lead by a point. McKernan gets it out of the centre. Lappin against 2 Hawks. McCabe dives on top, flicks it out. Bateman was there as well. Here's Vandenberg now for Hawthorn on half-back flank. Certainly, though, Carlton have lifted considerably. They were a team with no confidence in the first quarter, and now they're playing a bit like the old Carlton sides.
And no real designated centre-half forward. Simon Cox down there. I just wonder whether Nick Holland needs to get on the ground here.
McKernan again gets the tap. He slaps it forward, intercepted by Harford. Freeborn, hard at the ball. Good play by McCabe. Just kept his feet. Disposal was ordinary. Houlihan around the body, turns it over. Bateman slams it on the left boot. He turns it over as well. Bradley drops the chest mark. It comes out the crenage. Freeborn has to run at the ball and does. Harford mucking around with it. Tallis goes hard. McCabe again. Carlton have the numbers, but the boundary line will win. We'll have a throw in. And it is now a good old-fashioned game of football with 1 point to different. Carlton in front. McKernan's had 15 hit-outs and 2 clearances tonight. And there's the top 5 disposals. Cox and Lexus. And now the Carlton boys getting amongst it. Whitnell, Eccles and Beaumont.
Matthew Lappin, it came to him. Perhaps he wishes it hadn't. We'll have a ball up.
He turned and shielded the ball then, didn't he? Into the put his back to the tackler.
Straight out, guys.
Awkward situation, that one, standing in front of the pack and it's knocked down to you. And they're descending on you. It's like an avalanche. Houghton was in there initially. Reese slaps it wide, taken by Vandenberg, kicks inside the 50. Going back, doing well was Manton. Pickering, like his game, to Bradley. dances around, throws it on the boot. Did it go 15? Yes, it did, said the umpire. Well, Christou, in fairness to him, was waiting for the whistle. It moved on thinking perhaps it wasn't 15. Now Leckis smothers it across the boundary. And Leckis walks into Christou. He's still agitated, I think. That was an interesting situation. That the umpire could have shown a little more enterprise, I think, and paid the mark and called him back. Crawford flies over the top, sliding in his Manton. Still Crawford with him. Manton got it to Freeborn. Freeborn did well. They'll work it out. Eccles to Christou. Kicks it very high at half forward. Splitting the pack was Whitnell. Cox slides across the line. It's out of bounds.
I thought the whistle was a bit slow for the mark.
It was, yeah.
I think the umpire wasn't sure himself.
Exactly.
Throw in.
Good news for Carlton with Murphy back on, though.
Crawford touched. Dixon, beautiful play. Crawford, the Carlton tackling really starting to lift. Hawthorn still have the ball as Hodge kicks inside 50 up towards the goal square. Getting back though with courage is Livingston. Christou, good kick to Cranage. To centre wing, Murphy comes out. It was an ordinary kick though, and Harford took the mark.
Dixon's free again. He's only got Craig Bradley. If Harford spots him, he's going to outmark it. Oh, we got the blood draw. So we can stop here. Franchina will sneak on.
Well, Michael Mansfield wore a
big bandage
in the first half and has come out without it, but maybe he's reopened that, or maybe he's got a fresh one.
Oh, he's got one in the side of the schnoz, I reckon. And
friendly fire, that one.
Adam Pickering.
If you get a look at that, I reckon that nose will be about a half-inch closer to the cameraman at the moment.
Yeah, no, that was just a bad one. Nothing untoward, obviously. Line the tackle.
Oh. Yeah.
Pickering just got him.
That'll be bent over to us.
Harford goes short. Mark's being played by Dixon, who's just starting to get lively all of a sudden.
Well, Mansfield's man or opponent he was, so someone was slow to pick him up.
Dixon inside 50. Waiting for Chick. Livingston did well. Should have probably taken them out. Throw it in. They own one.
Yeah.
Well, Hawthorn seemed to have some aerial supremacy early, particularly in the contested mark situation, but when you have a look at that, they have worked their way back into it in every aspect of this game.
Lose by a point. Hodges up. Thumps it towards the pocket. McKay could have been taken high. Leckis tries to clear a passage. Couldn't get through as we go down to TJ.
Yeah, well, the Hawthorn box must have heard Gary Lyon a couple of moments ago. Nick Holland about to come back on.
This needs some presence up there at the minute.
Otten did well. Cranage with some time kicks it up towards the wing. McCabe will need to stand his ground. McKernan was a little lenient, showed compassion coming up the top. Stone, McCabe, interesting kick. Low down Rees, feeds it back towards the middle, and Campbell's kick inside the 50. Leckis tried to smother it close to the boundary line. Well played by Pickering to Houghton. The run of Pickering kicks it back towards the wing. McCabe again goes back, takes the mark. He's on the wing. McKernan stands the mark.
Well, it's a stalemate, isn't it? Because Carlton can't penetrate this zone flood back by Hawthorn. And Hawthorn, once they go inside 50, can't get a winner in the air. Carlton are only going to be dangerous if they quick run it forward from the centre. And Hawthorn needs somebody to mark it forward of where we are now.
McCabe sets a PB there, goes in short and finds Hay. About 30 seconds to kick it 15 metres. So Hay, the defensive side of the wing.
Otten's waiting behind any intended pack. He's not going to make this one.
In from the side, firsting it away down there and finding the boundary line was Livingston as we go down to...
I was just going to say, Dennis, with Corey McKernan, he had an opportunity to really put a stamp on a game here. There's few opportunities in a game of footy where you get an opportunity to clean someone up fairly in the course of play. And with a couple of players off the ground with injury, Carlton, there was an opportunity perhaps to square the ledger.
As Dennis said, he maybe took the mercy rule on the Hawthorn opponent. Here's a chance for Dixon. He's an opportunist off the ground into the goal square. Charge of the light brigade there. Leckis. Livingston for Carlton. Does it well to Eccles. Looking for the boundary line. Tallis takes it over. Throw in, but still in the attacking zone. Very much the danger spot here for Carlton. Throw in.
They throw it so deep here.
Almost like a centering kick. We've said that a few times this year. Throw in. Barker does the ruck work for Hawthorn. Freeborn grabbed when he didn't have the ball. McKay over the top of it. He'll have to get it out. Didn't.
Couple of scrubbers there, McKay and Vandenberg. There was danger there. That boundary line throw in. Nick Rees sat out the back of the pack all by himself. It didn't quite get there. And there's Mick Mansfield getting the treatment. He wouldn't be feeling all that good at the moment.
A couple of stitches in the old lip as well. Holland takes it out. Here's McKay. Rides the bump. Did it well. And took it to the boundary line. Throw in. But at least he's picked up about 15 metres. We're now 50 metres out from the Hawthorn goal. And Hawthorn trail Carlton by 1 point. 13 minutes gone in the third term.
Andrew McKay, who picked up the top Brownlow votes last time these sides met, despite being on the losing end of things, as if on cue, grabs the footy again. He's a wonderful player. Knows no other way. In hard again. Ball up. Carlton by a point.
Watch Nick Rees here, number 16, when we pick it up on the normal camera angle. He hasn't got an opponent. See him. He's on the left-hand side of the pack. Number 16, he just hasn't got an opponent.
Holland over the top. McKay hasn't got the footy. He'll get the free kick.
He doesn't quite know who to run to at the moment doing it.
McKay across the ground. Christou released into space. Pulls it back towards the middle. Now there's a chance. Gallagher drops the mark, but his meter's in the clear. Back to Christou. Has a bounce. Chick chases hard. Christou kicks down towards the 50. What a lovely kick. Cranage just moves inside the 50. Sets it up. Houghton from behind. Big leap. Couldn't hang on. Over the top. Hay. Crumb there by Bateman. Chopped up by Houghton. Hand passes back towards centre half forward. Who wants it? Rees does. Chopped up by Cranage though. At close quarters to Houghton. Throws it on the boot. Over the top half and good defensive mark. Timely. But for the moment, Carlton frustrating the Hawks and then coming on the counter-attack. This is Crawford, right half back, goes for distance, up towards half forward, cocks the left footer, run off the line of the ball by Manton, who played it very nicely out of bounds.
It's not pretty, but it's good hard football at the moment.
Any initiative Hawthorn have has been lost. This is a dead set, even money bet at the moment. Early on in the piece, they looked like they had this self-belief that was going to carry them a long way. Well, Carlton have stripped that from them. That's to their credit. They are right in this. It is dead set 50-50.
Carlton lead the quarter 1-1 to a goal and lead the match by a point. McKay. Off the side of the boot. Well, this is a 50-50 contest. It goes the way of the Hawks. Tallis into the centre. Now they go. Rees inside 50. Dixon.
Can use it, Nick Rees. He knew the target he had there, and Ben Dixon saw the corridor was wide open and led straight up there. He'll get some good vision out of this one behind it here. Breaks in. Watch Ben Dixon. You see his feet at the top of screen there? He's seen that gap there. And that's a clever kick, isn't it? He's had to weight it over Livingston and Holland and put it right in the zone where Ben Dixon was going to run onto it.
Nick was nearly in the wrong spot, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yelled leave it. Fourth mark, 12th possession. He's kicked one goal, Ben Dixon. It came at the 3-minute mark of this term. And he's snuck it through, I think, though, Dermot.
Yep.
He's kicked the goal and Hawthorn are back in front.
Well, the other thing about that is that Ben Dixon, who had Michael Mansfield as his opponent, has now got Anthony Franchina. And Ben Dixon is a far more competent and accomplished full forward than Anthony Franchina is a full back. So that is
the go-to man now. You'd think when you look up and saw that matchup, if Holland and those boys can stay out wide when they're deep and they're looking for a target up there, Dixon's the go-to.
You'd isolate the eyes out of that dude.
That was a good mark on a hard lead from Ben Dixon. Now we've got the blood rule, and I think it's Houghton who's coming off the ground. Carlton just the 2 goal kickers. Whitnell's got 4, Houlihan 3, both on fire in the second term. Hawthorn have got 6 goal kickers. Trent Houghton off the ground then, replaced by the young man Justin Davies, who made his debut on this ground last Friday night.
The lead's changed 4 times in the first 15 minutes of this quarter. Gary, you picked up a bit of a mismatch with Dixon.
Yeah, well, he's now at full forward. Well, he could play full forward. He's a far more competent full forward than Franchina would be a full back. And as a consequence, Franchina's been shifted. McKay goes back to Dixon.
Hawthorn by 5 points. Beaumont stripped of the football. Likewise, Harford runs wide. Harford tracks it down, feeds it back. This is Stone. It's a hand pass back to Harford. Harford over the top to no one in particular. Tallis did well to Harford again. Plenty of possessions in a short space of time. Leckers pulls it back towards the middle. Coming up on the lead down there was Barlow. Comes to Graham. Just flicks the ball out in front. Brilliant speed. Look at him go. Crawford couldn't kick it though. Pulls it back towards the middle. Graham slaps it down to Reese. Gets a hand pass away. Graham gained about 10 metres with a kick. Pickering comes across and knocks it towards the boundary line. And once again, he displayed a cool head. Boundary throw in. Hawthorn 54, Carlton 49.
And Jonathan Hay has now gone on to Lance Whitnell at the other end of the ground.
Barker on the bench there with the jacket on. Chris Barlow replaced him.
18 minutes gone, third term. Barlow, the man in there. Good play by Pickering. Quick hands to Freeborn. Manton, who's been crunched a few times tonight, had to sit and wait. Sits nicely for Crenage, who just slams it on the boot and hopes for the best. And it might be a good bounce too for Lance. Goes to ground, dives in on top of it, flicks the ball out. Davies kicks, bounce, 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 goal! Carlton back in front!
This is why the naturally gifted or the natural footballer will survive in this game, Dermot. When we have a look at the replay, Lance Whitnell is about to be run over the top of by two probably athletically superior opponents in Stone and Hay. He realises that. Just happy to take it to ground, trap the ball in his own little area and get it across to Davies. And that's the sort of bounce that Carlton haven't had in the past month or so.
Gee, that was wonderful by Lance Whitnell. The tortoise in the hair there. Just stopped the footy, laid it off. A thinking man's forward, no question about that. Leckers gets it away. Harford claimed immediately. Carlton lead by a point.
What a clever tackle by Simon Beaumont there. All the weight's moving forward. It would have been so easy to cannon him into the ground here. This is Whitnell who stops dead on it. Now watch young Davies. He gets the Shane Warne bounce from the right to the left here.
It's come back to kid, 7 metres, hasn't it?
Graham thumps it down towards the attacking 50. Christie's in the road. Sends play back towards half forward for the Blues. Rees leads in the race there. Tries to spike it towards the boundary. Charging in is Murphy. Pushes the ball across the boundary line as we go down to the dock.
Yeah, not so good on the Hawthorn bench with Nick Holland hobbling to the bench with looks like a bad cork in the outside of his right calf. They're just checking him for a cracked fibula bone at the moment. Couldn't put weight on it. So that can be a fibula bone crack underneath that. But at this stage, Nick with right leg troubles.
All right, Pete, we'll come back to you in a moment. McKernan went up.
We just get back to that Lance Whitnell one. Isn't it a great example of a player knowing his limitations and working within them to his absolute benefit? I mean, he knew he couldn't outrun Jonathan Hay, so just stopped on the footy and made something out of nothing.
But also knowing the awareness of the players around him, how close they were.
Veteran physio Barry Gavin having a good look at Nick Holland. In the meantime, Pickering flicks it out to Freeborn. 60 out, he kicks to the goal square, looking for Lance Whitnell. 2-on-1. He's got the free kick for holding. And Lance will line up 20 metres out directly in front, and the Hawthorn fans behind the goal are going nuts.
And once again, without labouring a point, the difference of getting a free kick.
There's no free kick there.
Gee whiz.
I'll say it for you, Doom. Whitnell to put Carlton 7 points in front. He does and kicks his 5th.
Well, regardless of what's actually happening in front of goal, they're winning the ball at the stoppages, the boundary line throw-ins and the centre bounces. Carlton are actually getting more than Hawthorn's share of takeaways. So that's where they're winning the game. Forget what happens. Umpires' rules are, adjudications. You've got no control over them. But what you can control is your attack on the ball at the boundary line throw-ins, the bounce downs and the centre bounce. And Carlton are smashing them.
Free kick so far. Carlton 12, Hawthorn 9. You've got to say the umpires have got quite a few of those 21 wrong. The umpires, like Hawthorn, very Lance Whitnell conscious. Davies gets the hand pass away. Fletcher in real trouble, dragged down on his knees. Johnson dug it out. Leckers dragged down off the kick as well. It goes down towards half forward. Crawford over the football, confronted, gets a hand pass towards half forward. Carlton flooding back. Chick with other ideas, taken out by Pickering. Leckers at close quarters. Crawford went down. Vandenberg had it, lost it. The 221's in there. Bradley over the football. Whistle, ball up. Carlton by 7 points.
And here is Lance Whitnell again. Regardless, as Dermot said, of the result, it's where you get the free kick, and he has been at home tonight for 85% of the time, and it was as soft as all get out, but he was close enough to goal to convert, and he's played his position beautifully.
He's kicked 5-1, and of course one magnificent assist. Lance Whitnell, what a great player. Took his chances. Now it's Chance's turn. To Cox. Now to Tallis. Inside 50. Pointed out by Rawlings. Plenty of blues there. McKernan ran over the top of the ball. Back to Fletcher. Kicks at the centre wing. Lappin is the man. Getting to the front was McCabe, who's played pretty well tonight. Lappin still in there. So too McCabe. Held up by Beaumont. We'll have a ball up. Dr. Peter Larkins, the latest on Nick Holland.
Yeah, tried to run the boundary. Ed was very uncomfortable, so they've given him away at least till three-quarter time, icing up the outside of that right calf. Hopefully just badly corked, but you can easily get a cracked fibula bone on the outside out of those heads, so they'll be just reassessing him at three-quarter time for sure.
Keep an eye on it, Peter. Campbell got the tap on that occasion. Houlihan looking for the boundary line. Barlow finds it, throw in.
Big heavy hitters for Hawthorn. Vandenberg, Chick and Crawford have all just gone up a notch in the past 3 minutes, but to Carlton's credit, they have not taken a backward step. They've in fact matched them all the way.
Approaching three-quarter time. Carlton by 7 points. McKernan knocked it down. Crawford gives it across. Graham, the hurried kick towards midfield, though. The mark is taken by Davies. Houlihan.
He sees home on it. He's got him.
The Blues meeting every challenge. Whitnell again, the target. Drew a crowd. Lappin at the back, the beneficiary. Lines up and kicks another one. His first.
Well, when we get a look at the replay, Dermot, you'll see how a dominant forward can create opportunities for other players. Watch the Hawthorn players gravitate towards Lance Whitnell and leave Matthew Lappin on his own. You'll see Lappin fall over there, just on your left of screen. He's on his own there. Two Hawthorn players have gone to him, including McCabe, and they've just left Lappin, just absolutely ignored him and paid the ultimate price.
Welcome back, and since the 14-minute mark of the second term, Carlton have kicked 9 of the 11 goals scored to lead by 13 points, and into attack they go again. This will be one of the most famous Carlton victories in years if they can get up here, but the Hawks aren't done yet. Bateman from defensive 50. Too tough, Freeborn went hard at the ball. Fletcher goes, Freeborn goes again, cops it high and gets the free kick.
Freeborn laid the tackle on the wing that made the turnover for the last Carlton goal about 30 seconds ago, so he's been rewarded for hard work here.
Hawks led by 5 goals at the 14-minute mark of the second term, now trailed by 13 points at the 25.5-minute mark of the third term. Tackle count, Carlton 41, Hawthorn 30. Eccles to the centre of the ground. This is Livingston.
Showed a bit tonight.
He has indeed. We asked him to put his hand up. He's put both of them up. Inside 50, McKernan! Couldn't quite hold the mark. Fall of the ball, he goes again, Corey. Slaps it over the top. It was a throw, says the umpire. Good call on that occasion. Just needed to close the fist on that one, Corey. The flick pass went out with VJ Whitten. Hawthorn come to the members' side. Vandenberg went to ground, up the ground. Fletcher had plenty of time to pick it up. Just panicked a bit, and Bateman relieves for the Hawks.
Towards the boundary line, you'd have to think that was a lack of talking. 3 Carlton players around, just needed a steady head, and that's what Lappin is saying.
Some of the decision-making of the Hawks at the moment isn't great either. I mean, to come across ground to a 50-50 contest like that really exposed their teammates.
Carlton by 13 points. Hawthorn need to hold here. Knocked down by Campbell. He goes again, the big man. But that ball is locked in. 2 minutes till three-quarter time.
I think Wayne Britton's coached a whole lot better than last week this week. He's worked out Hawthorn to an extent where he knows they like to go across the ground when they get possession like Chick had in the back line. So he's making sure that those Players who are directly across the ground are manned up on one-on-ones at very least.
Beckering immediately attracts a crowd. Another bounce. Hit outs, Hawthorn 27, Carlton 16. A game pretty much devoid of ruckman. All the big names are missing. Clearances favour the Blues. Campbell won it down, knocked back to him, smothered off the boot by Freeborn. Was it out on the full? It was, and his follow through. He shinned it across the line. Just over a minute to go till three-quarter time. Lekis unloads. And perhaps that says something about their frustration too. Simon Cox was up, missed it, taken by Johnson. Over the top, McCabe, 55 metres out, spears a pass in low. Dixon couldn't hang on. Taken across the line by Gallagher. Another boundary throw in. Hawthorn red-hot favourites tonight. Really in trouble here. And Carlton, after falling off the pace, came storming back late in that second term. Tossed in. Rawlings tries to hook it behind. Socket off the ground by Lekis. About 20 metres out from Hawthorn's goal. Lekis missed it. Check didn't. Got it through the pack. Going after it, Eccles, and across the line it goes.
Now, what you're going to get to see here, what you are going to get to see here, is two blokes go at the ruck who are not regular ruckmen, and one may infringe one way or the other, and there's going to be space out the back of this contest.
48 seconds left on the clock. The countdown is on. Here's a chance for Chick, finding some space. He gets his kick on the ball. It's across the face of goal. Lappin there, tried to zone off his player. It was McCabe. McCabe around the corner to the danger spot. Rawlings, the high flyer, couldn't quite hold it. It spills out the back. Oh, good play. Manton out to Christou. Clearing kick. The kick was a beauty to Houlihan. He ran out of bounds. He should have probably just stopped and taken his kick. And Houlihan, who's dashed up the wing, will have to bring it back with 21 seconds left on the clock. Still time for a score.
Now, that was a real defensive 50 clearance. That, you know, when you go back to it at the end of the night, something like that, so much pressure in the goal square, that could be a match-saving stat, that one. That clearance outside defensive 50 then.
Blues just showing a bit of inexperience. Houlihan should have just marked and held it up and ran the clock down. Didn't. We start again with 16 seconds, and here it goes. Could be punishment time. Lekis to the open goal. Does exactly that.
Eddie, great call, Sean.
Kicks his first with 8 seconds on the clock, and the Hawks are back in this game.
Well, exactly what they did not want, Carlton. They've been working so hard, so bravely. They've opened up a really handy 13-point lead going into three-quarter time, and just a little minor slip-up. Even at the centre bounce, they left the attacking side of that pack open with just on half a minute to go. That is unforgivable. So a little bonus, nice little bonus for the Hawks.
Angelo Lekis, lovely goal.
Still finding plenty of it, Lekis. He's in good form. 25 possessions.
Dying seconds of the term. Carlton by 7 points. McKernan hooks it down behind McKay. Freeborn back to McKay on the siren. So we're set for a big finish here. The underdogs on top against all the odds. Carlton 10-7-67. Lead the Hawks 8-12-60. Start of the final term. Friday night football from the MCG. Carlton lead by 7 points. The underdogs on top. Can they hang on? McKernan goes up and slaps it down. Davies was pushed in the back. Surely he'll get the free kick.
We were impressed last week with this boy, and he's backed up again tonight. It's won enough of the footy.
Well, Whitnell's on the lead.
Probing kick from Beaumont. Whitnell dropped that one. There was a whistle. Advantage is paid to the Hawks. Not sure why. Harford goes out wide. Freeborn been very good. Has a bounce. Runs forward to the wing. A second bounce. Close to the boundary line. Kicks inside the 50. Whitnell goes back. McKernan behind him. And what about that grimace as he hit the turf?
Boys, on annual stuff, this isn't. I reckon the whistle came because the umpire thought Whitnell was going to mark it.
So do I.
Half the work already done for Corey. He's getting in the mitts. He's got to finish off now. Good body work, and taking that young fellow Rob Campbell down to the goal square or close enough is a good move. I mean, one out.
He's marked that. He's got the left palm on it. He's pushed it onto the back of his right hand. So the hands are still yet to come together.
Huge kick in more ways than one. McKernan kicks the goal.
Well, comes at a perfect time for Carlton and probably for Corey as well. Started okay this game and quietened a little bit, but an opportunity now just to go for it. He's had 13 touches, 20 hit-outs, taking his second contested mark. So that's a pretty fair evening's work. Well, I think he'd take it at this stage anyway. And he's now got a quarter of footy ahead of him with a bit of confidence under his belt.
Well, Carlton have kicked 10 of the last 13 goals. And don't forget, Hawthorn had kicked 8 behinds before they got their first major on the board. So they have had plenty of time and opportunity and led by 30 points at the 14-minute mark of the second term. But it's the Blue Baggers by 13, and McKernan is putting on a clinic now. In the centre of the ground, he clears it himself. Bateman off the ground. Here's a chance for Murphy. Teller's hard at him. Murphy was concussed early on. Takes it to the ground, pushes his opponent in the back, and Tallis will get the free kick.
Now, this is the one where Hawthorn, we spoke about it earlier, they like to get side on to the ball carrier here in the back line and just chip it around. Crawford, Brett Johnson's nicked up there. Carlton have been awake up to it all night, because when Hawthorn do that, they've got quick runners to move the ball forward down the other side. They go one-on-one, force them to go down the line.
Murphy just not looking all there at the moment. Barlow gets to the front and takes the mark. Centre wing. Hawks have got the job ahead of them. Trailing by 13 points. Plenty of time. But they need to change the momentum of this game.
Let's go! Trent, let's go!
Barlow getting the hurry up from the umpire. Off 2 steps. Kicks a shocker forward. No one will mark that one. Freeborn. Good tackle from Vandenberg. Steals the ball. Handballs backwards to Johnson. Here's Bateman. He loves him from the boundary line. Chance Bateman. Not on this occasion, no. Offline and through for another point. Hawks 8-13-61. Carlton are 11-7-73. They lead by 2 goals.
Top of the square they're saying, I'm not sure whether the young fella could have got it around that far. He had some pressure coming at him. Might have been able to try a bit harder.
Well, he did at York Park from memory. 8-13, 11-7. Christo to himself.
Numbers outside 50. He's going to go short when they see that number and push back to it, Hawthorn.
Cranage to Eccles. Kicks play up towards the wing. Coming across Bradley. Awkward half volley. Harford. Good pick-up. Draws a man. Looks the hand pass over the top. Short one comes in from Barker. Taken by Vandenberg.
Lined up over here.
Vandenberg spots them belatedly. Murphy! Stolen. Murphy through the centre square. Whitnell Mitters in the clear. Hayard peeled off. Whitnell off a step. Will it bounce? Well, it does, but wide of the mark. And out of bounds in the opposite pocket. Well, Justin Murphy ghosting through. Hawthorn slow to react. And in the time it took, tailor-made for Murphy.
Didn't look concussed then. Mind you, the kick did miss. And then Lance tried with a goal of the night, pushing the back. That should be a hot and free kick.
Well, either that or Trent Houghton is one heck of an actor.
Did he say pay him next week?
Something like that. Anyway, Cox has got the ball. At half-back flank, in front of the smoker stand.
Now, Barker's led up now, and they don't have another key forward behind him because he's too close now, Barker. There's no more key forward to present with Holland off the ground.
He goes short to Barker on the wing.
Now they're going to fall down as they get to 50. They'd like to run it, but they're all one-on-one.
Barker's kick, he's half shanked it. Davies thumps it back. Might be fortuitous. As Vandenberg kicks inside 50. It was a booming kick. Chick gets back. Backing into the pack.
And that is 50-metre penalty against Michael Mansfield.
He's the most
Undisciplined and just so foolish. You'll see it in a minute. It's a little rabbit punch, not even a punch, a rabbit tack to the back of Shane Crawford's head. And it's transformed a rough chance into a silver.
To goal. Chicken kicked 2 points. Now he's kicked 1 goal too, and the Hawks are back.
What a good grab. What a good grab, though. And he's done that against the premier mid-sized defender in the comp. But Michael Mansfield, the stats show, he's the most penalised 50-metre penalty player against in the competition, and he's done it again for no advantage. It's not even a long-term game out of that.
I hope we get to see it. There's Shane Crawford bumps into Mansfield, and here it comes. Look at that.
Just 6 points the difference then. Wonderful mark by Chick. Made even better by the quality of the opposition. McKernan knocks it down. Vandenberg sockers it down towards half forward. Cox tries to help the ball on its way. Murphy gets back. Slides to the ground. Bradley took it well. Kept his head. Feeds it back. They'll run it out. Eccles gave it across to Beaumont. He sends the ball across the goal front. And the mark is taken by Mansfield. Oh, he's made a mistake, as you can hear and see. Manton over the shoulder, close to the boundary line. Mansfield, keen to make amends, goes back to Christou. A mistake there as well. Pushed through the pack to chip by Cox. And the kick runs out of bounds in front of Livingston in the opposite pocket.
Let's have a look at why that 50-metre penalty made Chick's mark into a certainty. Watch this. Bang.
Just silly, isn't it?
What was he thinking? Meanwhile, boundary throw in. Hawthorn with Crawford. Took clean possession. McKay only moved it about 5 metres. Butters up again. Tallis slips it away to Barlow. Lines up. Kicks. Hit the post, I fancy.
Yeah.
That's Mitch Mansfield one. If ever there was a description for it, a cheap shot. Beautiful, wasn't it?
It's beautiful. There's a bit of Chick factor coming into this. His pressure is starting to tell down there in his forward 50, and a couple of opportunities have presented themselves as a result.
They clear it though. It's going to be open running for Carlton forward of the centre.
Up to McKernan. Takes the mark. Needed to present himself and did, big Corey. Growing in confidence and stature out there on the ground tonight. 14 and a half minutes left in the game, and Carlton hang on to a 5-point lead. Up towards half forward. Houghton and Stone wrestling. Stone got the ball. Bateman. Big torpedo off one step, but it's going to come back. McKernan holds his ground and takes the mark.
Well, that's good. He might have coughed that up last week, so he is getting the hands working a little bit better now. He's starting to find it, Corey.
Beaumont leaves it up in the air for an hour. Have another go. Take two. Tunnel ball himself. He's under pressure. Free kick. Advantage paid. Freeborn through the centre of the ground. Bradley's fallen over. Now he gets up and kicks it long. Whitnell 1 against 2 at the back. Graham takes the mark for the Hawks.
Plays on immediately. Barker, troubled by the lights, takes the mark. He's at left half back. Kicks it up towards the wing. Leckis has it on the wing. Good kick. Good lead. Leckis to space. Crawford lets it bounce. Confronted by Bradley. Slipped him. And then the unkindest bounce of all. Right on the point. It went back over his arm, as you saw, when he thought he had the ball in control. Watch it again. The hard work done. Oops. There, oh dear. Tossed in. 60 metres out. Graham hoists it very high. Check in front. McKay leads back close to the boundary line. Still in. Picked up by Vandenberg. Shrugs one tackle. Manages to get the kick away. Hawthorn in front.
Touched.
Oh,
Goodness.
where did that come from? Corey again, the unlikely hero. He was lunging. Watch it again.
They do look a lot more dangerous with Vandenberg and Crawford both on the ball at the one time.
Oh, they're getting nervous, Carlton.
The faintest of touches. Here's McKay.
1-4 to Vandenberg. He started the night with 9-1 for the season. McKay brings it out. Murphy is over his head. Cox gets the run at the ball. Simon Cox gives it a big left foot heave-ho to the goal square. Punch away. Here's Harford. Handball's back. Under pressure. Into the goal square, and Manton gets back.
Good tackle by Cranage to make sure the kick drops short.
Yep.
It's just Carlton's delivery by foot at the moment. They've turned it over, I reckon, 4 times in the past 5 minutes.
Livingston with another shank kick. Puts McKernan under pressure. He was being held. Umpire said no go. Throw in. In the meantime, let's give you a trivia question. I'm sure you're ready to go for this. For the Herald Sun, I'll get it out of the way quickly. Who retired in 1997 after playing a record 226 games as captain of his club? Look at the Herald Sun today. Friday's edition of the Herald Sun's a beauty.
Could you repeat that? Here's Crawford, gets a hand pass away. Graham couldn't control it, close to the boundary line, settles now, pulls it back towards the middle. Dixon comes hard, interfered. Mansfield will get the free. Mansfield, short of half-back. Hawthorn fans very unhappy. Well, I think it may have just been there.
I think you'd pay that.
Yeah, I think you would. Well, he did. Mansfield, off his step, squares it. Eccles, nobody near him. 3 bounces in the space of 20 metres. Runs through half-back, kicks up towards the wing. Hotton's in front, knocked away. Boundary throw in.
Just again, it's the disposal out of the 50 there. He had a bit more time. He could have run and bounced perhaps another couple of times. You wonder whether the lack of legs, Camporelli on the bench, not able to come back, might hurt Carlton in the end.
Carlton by 4 points, tossed in on the wing. Manton got a fist on it, into space. Lappin, hand passes wide of McCabe, close to the line. Whitnell, out of bounds. It'll be tossed in once more.
Well, this is where Carlton have really matched Hawthorn and even taken it away from them tonight. The boundary line throw-ins and the centre bounces. Hawthorn came into this game tonight, ranked 2nd in the league for takeaways, and Carlton 15th, and Carlton have smashed them at the stoppages.
Beaumont on the left boot, inside 50. Hey.
Now, what's that for? Is that for a mark, or is it too high?
Too high, it had to be.
He didn't hold it for long enough. Yeah, gee, that's soft if it is for too high. A little hand on the face.
The umpire anticipated worse contact than
Stone's out by himself.
Stand there and watch it, boys. Let it unfold. Let the players anticipate. Here's Stone. Up to half forward. As a result, Hawthorn have got it inside their 50 from Barker to Crawford.
That's just hard running. That is just hard running from Hawthorn all over the ground at the moment.
That was classic circle work in the old days.
Reese's side onto him outside 50. He can run forward.
And does. Gets around Bradley. Handballs off. Here's a chance from Vandenberg. He's kicked 1 goal for. Make that 2 goals for. And Hawthorn hit the front.
Well, the players that started this game so very well for Hawthorn have got busy again, and Richie Vandenberg has been one of those. He's had a pretty big evening, was on fire early, just went a bit quiet, and then Crawford also lifted his work rate. You wouldn't give the Blues away, they've been so brave, but it's just this athleticism and ability to run hard that looks a touch ominous.
Hawthorn by 2 points. Friday night football. Final term. 75 plays, 73. Rucks go at it again. McKernan favoured by the bounce. Hooked it down. Head down. Crawford knocked it forward. Campbell in trouble. Got a hand pass away. Pickering breaks away from the centre. Swings it out wide. Hangs a long time in the air. Cox over the top. Missed it. And there's going to be a free kick, and it's coming back to Carlton.
Trade this bloke here. Come here. What's his name?
What's his name?
Davies.
Isn't that beautiful?
Aren't you filled with confidence now?
You, number 13.
He's run into the umpire too.
Fair enough too. Didn't know his name. Can't report him. Here's Davies. Forward of the wing. Kicks inside the 50. Whitnell the target. No contest. Harford just drifting in. Takes the defensive mark.
This is where Hawthorn are dangerous. They'll break from this situation.
Comes out wide. Rees into open space.
Vandenberg will break again for them. He's picked up now.
This young man has been handy. Well, having said that, of course, we fixed him. Crawford making amends to McCabe. Slips it back to Crawford. Crawford over the top. Vandenberg. He's been involved in all the scoring. Houlihan running down. Hand passes away. Graham spins out of a tackle. Leckers 20 metres out. He's kicked it. His second.
Richie Vandenberg ran onto the end of it. You could just see him work so hard from the back flank when Hawthorn won that one from Harford in the back line, Gary. They just spread. It was like somebody drops, you know, a stone into a pond and the ripples extend outwards from that, and they just picked them up on the way through. And they did pretty well, Carlton, to hang on to them and put pressure on them, but Vandenberg kept going forward. And
just look at those names, Doom, that are involved in that. It was Crawford, it was Vandenberg, and it ends up with Leckers. Blokes who they run so hard, and even the fittest players struggle to keep going with them. And The other thing that Carlton have become is just so Lance Whitnell conscious that the Hawthorn will just zone off their players, and they've been marked in the last couple of times they've gone forward, Carlton.
16 minutes gone, final term. And Hawthorn lead by 8 points. Have kicked the last 3 goals of the match. Here's a chance again for Rees. Murphy for Carlton. Vandenberg's the danger man again. Kicks to the goal square. Off hands, Houlihan. Boundary line throw in.
He's exciting, Richie Vandenberg, isn't he? He's just wrote the article during the week. He bench pressed 155 kilograms. He runs like a whippet, and he's as tough as they come. He's just got all the attributes, and he's only a little fella.
39,142 in tonight at the MCG. As Bradley tries to clear, but Harford takes the mark.
It's beyond his distance, Ed. He's going to have to try and hit somebody lace out. Look at the separation between the players close to him. And there's a little bit of space out the other side. He'd be looking for Barker to get back and try and lead out there.
19th possession coming up. Daniel Harford. He might try and run round here. No, he plays on.
That's where
Kicks
he goes.
to the front of the square. Barker's the man. And true to form, the umpires picked one out.
That's where he wanted Barker, Ed. You could see him hang on to it, and that's where the space was out there. We'll wait on that to see if it is a free kick.
Yeah, you can't.
Looking out the footy, mate.
Well, Vance Christou did turn his back on the footy. That would be the only thing that would plant the seed in the umpire's mind.
Yeah, well, what do you reckon? Was it a free?
Well, I'd like another look at it. Your head was in the road of the tally, Ed.
Sorry, mate.
I couldn't see.
There's a beautiful line there, Ed, but we won't use it.
All right, well, we're waiting to see whether there's a blood rule, so let's have a look at the replay. All right, Gary, can you see it?
Yes, mate. There you go. You can't take your eyes off the footy and jump into a player. That's a free kick.
Yeah, it's a free kick.
It's soft, but if you make contact when you've got your eyes on the player and off the footy, they'll ping you every time. And it doesn't hurt. It doesn't really put you off that much, but it's the way they adjudicate
That'd
it.
be the most legitimate of those ones of the night.
Yeah, they've given some ordinary ones.
Barker, 25 metres out. This will really hurt the Blues. It's a heartbreaker. His first.
Vance Christou has had a pretty fair night on Johnny Barker. He's had Johnny Barker taken from the ground on a couple of occasions. He's won enough of the foot. He's had 19 touches himself with 5 marks, so he'd be pretty disappointed with that. But I don't think there's any doubt at the end of the day with this free kick. It doesn't look much, but you just can't do it. It's just like putting your hand on a shoulder, for instance. It's not really doing anything, but you can't do it.
So the Hawks have slammed on the last 4 goals of the game to lead by 14 points. Still time for the Blues. 19 minutes gone. But not if Crawford keeps getting it out of the centre like he did that time. Rees stripped of the ball, goes back a second time. Harford sticks his head over it. Franchina's in there for Carlton. Greenwich kicks wide, but it's Cox. Simon Cox for Hawthorn. Does it well to the boundary line. Throw in. 8 minutes left on the clock, as you can see.
Crawford comes up to press to this. There's Richie Vandenberg getting taped up. But Crawford comes up to this boundary line throw-in. He hasn't been to that many centre bounces tonight. Last quarter, while Vandenberg and Crawford have been in the centre bounce, they've had more of the takeaways.
25 possessions for Crawford. Houghton going to the ground. Hand passes it forward. This is Bateman. Slings it back towards the middle. Up the ball is Johnson. He's got clever hands, Johnson. Gets it away nicely. Bateman. The 2 young West Australians combined. Bateman kicks it down towards half forward. Barlow. What a good grab.
Spent a lot of time on the bench.
Barlow 65 metres out. Play on's the call. Chips it for space. Barker came on a lead. Cleared he and Christou. Dixon knocks it down in front. Crawford snaps. Bends it back. Behind.
I just mentioned the centre bounce clearances, or the clearances all around the ground. At 3/4 time, it was 34-14 in favour of Carlton. In the last quarter, Carlton have won only 2 of the 7.
Christou goes wide. Houghton takes the mark at half-back flank. They trail by 15 points, the Blues. We've played 21 minutes, as you can see. 7 minutes left on the clock. Davies has been good.
He just shows a lot, this kid, doesn't he?
9th touch in his 2nd game of football. Squares it up. Hits his man on the chest. Houghton. And centre wing, they're going to get it going. They need to kick 3 goals, the Blues. Houghton's left foot kick. Good luck trying to mark it.
Dermot, you mentioned 2 out of 7. Carlton have also only won 2 out of 7 last quarters for the year, so they've struggled to finish games, and it looks like they might drop another one here.
Campbell takes the mark for the Hawks.
Makes it tough, doesn't it? Played 8 games, you've got 1 win, you've got 14 weeks left to get 11 wins to make the finals. Not going to happen.
Up towards the wing, and Hawthorn content to get it across the boundary line as we go down to the dock.
Yeah, Justin Murphy's headed to the bench again, Dennis. He took another hit around the head, and he's just really not clear in the head again. We know he got concussed earlier tonight, so they brought him off, and he'll sit out the game, I expect.
Looks on those faces tell you it's slipping away. Crawford, one of the reasons why. Hand passes towards half forward, taken by Simon Cox. Slips it across the body, down towards the attacking 50. Mansfield comes up, confronted by Leckis. And the ball ricochets across the line.
Craig Bradley, I feel sorry for him. He's a player that's had to just track around after Shane Crawford for the best part of 3 quarters at 38 years of age. That is cruel.
Tossed in just outside the 50. Houghton looking for support, dragged down by Barkas. Bills to Fletcher. Gallagher running out of space, wants the boundary line. Well, yes, that's the right call. I thought for a moment the central umpire was going to say throw it in. Barker wasting no time, sets it up from behind. Cox couldn't get to the contest. Christou paid a price. He's got the free kick.
The experienced thing by Gallagher was to let the tackle ride him out of bounds rather than try and dispose of it.
Franchina looks up, and there's not much on offer. Whitnall has tried hard. Franchina's kick over the top to give him a run at it. Oh, Hay does well, goes to ground. McKay gets one in the back, will take the free kick. Plays on straight away. Pickering back to McKay. Need a quick goal, they all watched it. It was Livingston, did it well to Lappin. Lappin can run in and kick the goal. Needs to nail this if they're to have any chance. And does! Kicks his second! And Carlton is still a chance late in the final term.
Good play by Andrew McKay. Got the footy there and just played on, realised the situation, realised he couldn't hold on to the ball, had to keep the footy moving, and in the end it just opened up for him. The play had been up Hawthorn's half for so much that most of the players had gravitated towards the middle of the ground. Lance Whitnall amongst them, saw him up on the wing there where he'd been at home for most of the night. There was just a lot of space for Matty Lappin. It was a nice finish.
Matthew Lappin, 5 career goals against the Hawks, 2 of them tonight. That one most timely. He's still hanging tough, plenty of time. Margin 9 points. Houghton hooks it down behind. Bradley storms away. Penetrating kick. Turning the defence around. Getting back though is Hay. Always his ball. He's marked in the goal square.
It's not that smart to kick a torpedo on the run like that, because if it goes long and it's dangerous to the square, it's still got to have hang time to allow Whitnall to move the body.
That's not a great kick.
Cranage, uncontested, plays on quickly. A centering kick, plenty of Hawks around the ball. Whitnall came hard, but Leckis has paid the mark.
Someone's got to bob up. The least likely Carlton play you would expect and present as a forward target, because there are 4 and 5 Hawthorn defenders that will just go straight to Lance Whitnall every time they go inside 50. It's got to be someone like a Gallagher or even a young Davies to really put their hand up and demand the footy, draw the football into their area.
Vandenberg's back on the ground now.
4:25 to go. Less. Clock continues to run. Christou, Bradley, Vandenberg. Well, Bradley knows he's back. The hand pass comes out from Graham. On the other side, Barker comes back to Barlow. He's elusive. From the defensive side of the wing, he kicks it down towards half-forward Tallis. Gallagher came over the top. Rees hurriedly around the corner. Now a chance. The kick. Crawford runs inside the 50. Well, did he do the right thing? Yes! No.
He had to look. He looked down when he bounced it, and Mick Mansfield waited until he took his eyes off the play ahead and onto the bouncing ball before he took off then. Clever play and experience by Mick Mansfield.
Well, he sold himself into trouble, Crawford. Chick loved it on the goal line. The goal umpire didn't.
Simple as this. With 3 minutes and 45 seconds remaining, Carlton need to kick 2 goals. To centre wing it goes. Livingston did well. Davies is there. Lappin Cox to the boundary line, throw in. Stop the clock.
A lot of blokes skating out there tonight, tearing through the top of the ground. We saw Jonathan Hay in this position a few minutes ago lose his footing.
That is a big last quarter for Shane Crawford. When you're thinking Brownlow votes, it's fresh in the umpire's minds.
Yeah, he certainly has lifted. Probably had he kicked that goal.
Yeah, I tell you, they would be thick because the way he's won the footy in this last quarter, he's carried it, he's handballed long, he's looked flashy.
Centre breaks under their nose.
Yeah, exactly. I reckon he might figure.
Well, the game's there to be won. It hasn't been won yet.
No, you're right, Dermot.
Campbell, Leckis has been good all night. And no, doesn't find the boundary line. Chance here now for Carlton. McKay to Lappin. Big torpedo.
Well,
good play, Livingston.
He's outsizing Adrian Cox.
Has to get it in. Just bang it in, son. And does. McKernan is there at the back. Chance. Pickering. Still a chance. Handball's inside. Franchino caught. Play on, says the umpire. It'll spill out to Bradley. Bradley dances around. Little left foot kick trying to thread the eye of a needle. And it does nearly as Campbell gets his hands up and takes the mark.
They should break from this. They've got players on. Harford's on up the middle. He hasn't seen him yet.
Campbell spotted him now. Harford over the top. Rees into space. This could seal it. Rees through the centre square. Chips inside the 50. Chick almost. Over the top, McKay. Surrounded by Hawks. Trying to get it out, but he did drag it back at the last moment. He's a bit lucky. Whistle. Ball up about 35 metres, 40 metres from Hawthorn's attacking goal. 2:05 to go. 89 plays 79.
Chris Barlow breathing a bit easier. We overran a footy down here in front of us and really should have done better than that.
Hooked down by Barlow. Hand pass comes out from Fletcher. Gallagher went to ground. Rees stood his ground up the top. Cresto.
Got to give that kid a tick, Nick Rees. He's been belted tonight and he's as tough as they come, this young man. He's worked really hard on his game and he's proficient in just about every area that's required for league footy. We've been impressed with him to stand his ground tonight.
It's been very good. Barker props, hot and clean possession. Hand passes out wide. Tallis goes down over the footy. This will do the Hawks just fine. As the clock continues to run, it's down to 1:20 now.
Time on called, 1:18 left on the clock.
The kid Hodge on the back of the pack here. This is on his correct side to swing around onto his left foot if he can find it at the back there.
Barker slaps it. Greenwich was there. Cox now for Hawthorn. Held up and looked for the umpire. And we'll have a bounce. And Carlton, well, they've had their chances, but in this quarter, 4 consecutive goals from the 6-minute mark to the 18.5-minute mark by Hawthorn. We'll see them get the 4 points.
There's a left foot.
Hodge on the left foot as Dermot promised. Into the danger zone. Here's Davies. A couple of the young guns on either side. Over the top. McKay pushed over the boundary line. Good play. Throw in with 37 seconds on the clock.
They have been 2 different sides when they work super hard, Hawthorn, and they're all committed and having a fair dinkum red-hot crack. They look a super side. When they take the foot off the pedal, they can just look an ordinary run-of-the-mill unit.
Bradley out the back. Manton. Greenwich. Can they have one last roll of the dice? They can. Lance Whitnall with 20 seconds. Big torpedo. He gets onto it. Mark required. Not quite there. It'll roll through for a rush behind. And just like their runner, Rob Dixon, Hawthorn will be the survivor tonight. And will win by 9 points, you'd fancy. 89-80. Plenty of anguish in the Crazy John's box there. App sponsor if ever there was one tonight.
A few panicky moments, I'd imagine. 30 points up halfway through the second quarter, Hawthorn and Carlton. Well, they're not going to have improved their win-loss ratio in terms of wins, but be proud of the efforts tonight without the result they wanted.
It's a cruel loss. McKay kicks it in. Bateman thumps it towards the line. It's out of bounds. We're down to 4 seconds. Well, Carlton's so close tonight, they could have tasted it at various times. 3-quarter time, they're up by 7 points. Got an early goal, but the Hawks have steadied. Wait for the siren. Hawthorn started favourites and they've won. But they had to work every centimetre of the way. Hawthorn 12-17-89. Carlton 12-8-80.
9 scoring shots more for the Hawks to win by 9 points.
And they got out of jail a bit, I reckon, Eddie, at the end of the night. And it was probably their better preparation going in. Carlton lost Scott Camporelli early in the piece. And I know Hawthorn lost Nick Holland, but it was the run and their ability to push hard through the last quarter that got them over the line.
4 goals in 12 minutes.
Yeah, and they did enough early in the piece to blow it away, and I reckon they sat back and enjoyed their early form in this match. And Carlton were brave, and they lifted their intensity, and they rode on the back of 2 individual performances in Lance Whitnell and also Ryan Houlihan.
Well, that's not a good side for the Hawks. It looks like Holland might have, well, we know he's done his leg, but Pete Larkins was saying that it might be a suspected broken leg. Anyway, let's go down to Tony Jones.
Yes, and a very happy Richie Vandenberg too. What a real roller coaster of a match, that one.
Yeah, we knew Carlton were going to come out real hard and attack us, and to our credit, we were able to hold out, and it really was a real roller coaster, that game.
Yeah, now what about yourself? 1 goal for there at one stage. When you needed to convert, you converted.
Yeah, I wasn't real happy about missing those goals early, and I think that allowed Carlton to stay in the game, but it was good to get away with a win in the end.
You were really looking down the barrel at 3/4 time in particular, even early in the last quarter. What was Schwabby's message at the break?
Oh, yeah, Schwabby just said we just got to be real desperate, and he said it's up to us now, and we just had to get across the line, and we did everything we could to do it, and thankfully we did.
Yeah, no mucking around with the bandage either. You got that off quick, smart.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that.
Good on you, Richie. Go and enjoy the win.
Cheers, thanks.
Go on you, Richie. Thanks, Tony Jones. Not a good fashion statement. The bandage around the head, and Richie Vandenberg goes off a winner. There's Rob Dixon. He runs off. What a week he's had.
He's shouting on.
He's won the car. He's got $500,000. He's going to import his mother-in-law from Zimbabwe, and his team's won the match tonight. There you go. 3 out of 4.
You don't get many better weeks than that.
Got to whack something on the bar tonight, surely.
I think so. All right, we'll be back to analyse the game. 12-17-89. Hawthorn have defeated Carlton 12-8-80 by 9 points.